Okay, test, 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 test. Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. I can confirm that my capture card does seem to be working. I was testing it for a while before the stream, so I think we should be good. Sorry that last time didn't quite work out as planned, though I hope you guys did enjoy the Devil Dagger stream. That was a ton of fun to get back into. I hadn't really spent much time with that game for a long time, so especially in anticipation of the hopefully soon release of Devil Daggers 2. It was cool to dip back into that and to talk some audio with you folks. Hope you enjoyed that. And if you have any questions about video game sound design in general, it's a topic that I'm very interested in. So I'm more than happy to talk about audio. In fact, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the audio tricks that I noticed, or like, I guess like features that I noticed in this area before we get started. Sorry about my coughing as well. I'm a little under the weather, but shouldn't hopefully be too bad. That being said, for folks who are returning, welcome back. For folks who are just checking this out for the first time, welcome. My name is John. I'm a video game developer. I've been in the industry for about 10 years. I've worked on small projects, large projects, everything in between. And we are now doing a series where we're discussing the intros to video games. So specifically, I wanted to take some time to review how does a video game invite you into its world? What are the challenges that are involved inherently in trying to get somebody invested in the universe you've created? What exactly does a developer need to do to get you invested and get you equipped with all the tools that you need to really enjoy a game without bogging you down too much with useless hand holding? And how do we solve those problems as developers? Now, I'm not a fan of. I'm a big fan of Zelda in general. Not a big fan of Breath of the Wild. But despite that fact, Breath of the Wild, which we played for a few streams like last month, has an amazing introductory section. The Great Plateau is probably the best opening area in any game that I've played in recent memory in terms of just providing the player with intuitive, organic instruction, meaning like teaching you how to use the mechanics of the game, informing you, keeping you like empowered and gradually increasing the verbs. In other words, like the abilities that you have access to. A verb would be something like run, sprint, attack, consume food, right? All that stuff while making you feel really, really fucking smart. Tricking a player into thinking that they're smart, or in other words, like setting up situations where there are relatively simple things that are available to you as options, as verbs, but that feel extremely satisfying and rewarding to actually like solve for yourself is really, really tricky. It's hard enough to design an effective puzzle in and of itself, let alone design one that genuinely makes you feel smart when you solve it. And if those puzzles are made available to you with minimal hand holding, minimal exposition, and minimal like forced tutorials, like pausing the sim, in other words, like bringing up a screen that stops the flow of momentum and everything like that of the game, even better. And the Great Plateau is fucking awesome in how it succeeds in doing all those things. Now, on that note, I wanted to see if the same would be the case for Tears of the Kingdom. So, Tears of the Kingdom has certain advantages with regards to, like, compared to Breath of the Wild. Obviously, it has the pre-existing engine available. They've solved innumerable challenges with that engine, I'm sure, and they can build off of that legacy. However, at the same time, that can be a not a detriment, but that can be a hurdle to overcome as well, because now you have everybody's expectations, right, as suggested or as like established by the previous title. How do you surpass that? How do you create a worthy legacy to that sort of thing? Like, can they manage to recapture the spirit of what made the original so not only compelling and entertaining, but innovative and successful as a piece of player instruction? Well, that's what we're gonna. Excuse me. That's what we're gonna find out. I have not played this game yet. I've been a little resistant to it because it's not really my kind of game. With all the emphasis on like the totally freeform construction and stuff like that. That being said, I want to see how does it do, and so this is just going to be a relatively chill, relatively verbose overview of the intro of the game over the next few hours. I don't really have any other housekeeping things to catch up on. other than I think that's pretty much it. I just wanted to take a moment to mention some interesting little audio tidbits that you might have noticed in this intro area, and just appreciate some of the other details that are on display here. So I know this is relatively subtle, relatively simple, but I love the fact that they're bringing in a more expressive Link. Like, if you put away his weapon, see if I can do that, go to none. He has a relatively neutral expression, but the moment I go into like this stance, his expression changes to be just like slightly more serious, right? If you have the weapon out, maybe it's more pronounced when you have the weapon out, right? Like relatively neutral, a little grim, but that's fine. But then when I was doing it before, yeah, there we go. I don't know what why the camera's acting up like that, but yeah, you can see he just gets like a little bit more stern. I love the fact that his eyes track like the direction in which he's moving. His head does too. I mean, it seems obvious, right? It's probably something that's present in a lot of games, but it's still a nice little detail. But specifically, I just thought it was kind of funny that if you try to perform a gesture that you don't have something available for, Link will play one of two sounds. So obviously, like going back to early days of video games, cartridges were and CDs were highly limited by like space constraints. Audio files are pretty big, especially any audio file of any like reasonable quality. And so, in order to cut down on the amount of space that is taken up on a disc or cartridge by audio, a variety of techniques can be used. One of the simplest ones is, let's say I want to have, I have the sound of a metal stick hitting a wooden shield, like a metal sword hitting a wooden shield, right? Like, ideally, what I would do is I would go get an actual shield and a sword or something that sounded equivalent, and I would hit the sword against the shield like 100 times. And I would take maybe 50 different recordings so that, and then when you go into the game, when you hit the sword with a shield or vice versa, you would select at random one of those 50 sounds, because that way it gets us a large volume of content that can then approximate as closely as possible what it would actually be like to be in a sword fight where you're having all of these impact events between the attacking object and the defending object at arbitrary levels of power, at angles, different types of attacks like thrusts and bashes, etc. To be as realistic as possible, it would be even better if we could detect for the difference between like a stab versus a slash versus like a two-handed power stab and stuff like that. Some games do things like that. But at the end of the day, it's cost prohibitive, time prohibitive, and memory budget prohibitive to have like 50, 100, 200 different variations of sounds for each little thing like that. So a very simple technique that you can use to save time, space, and RAM and hard disk space as well, is that you can just record 2 or 3 versions of the sound, and you can then, every time you play the sound, you introduce a little bit of pitch or a little bit of volume variation. So you set a range of like, well, this sound could play anywhere from its normal volume to about like 10% quieter or 10% louder. And that way, even though you're playing the same sound over and over again, it sounds a little bit different. You can also add a little bit of additional pitch modulation. So in other words, like, this is the pitch of my voice. This sounds cringy, but like, if I talk a little louder, my pitch of my voice is going up, and if I talk a little lower, the pitch of my voice is going down, right? So rather than just playing like bang, 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 I could also add some variation where it goes bang, 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 right? I'm saying the word bang over and over again. The word that I'm saying isn't changing, but the properties of it are changing. And it's much more it's much more like cheap and feasible and easy to do these things programmatically, systemically. It's really trivial at this point to add a little bit of variation in pitch and volume compared to recording 50, 100, 1,000 individual sounds for all these different arbitrary situations. Nowadays, with AI tools, we're probably going to be able to generate that stuff, and with hard drive space expanding at an exponential rate and like stuff getting cheaper, maybe this will be a thing of the past. But up to date, like, even if you go back to early Nintendo games, that is a technique that they used all the time. They would have a very, very short sample. They would repeat the sample. They would loop it. They would alter the pitch. Sometimes they would add a little random variation. Sometimes they would scoop it up or down. And they would do the same thing with the volume, and that's how you can get a lot of variation. Which is why it's kind of funny to me that in Tears of the Kingdom in 2023, I think it came out, right? There's only 2 variations for this sound. And there's no variation in pitch and there's no variation in volume. Not even really tied to the facial animation. Now, this is just such a tiny nitpick. It really doesn't matter at all. For something that minor, the fact that you're getting any amount of feedback is fine. But like, this is a sort of thing where if I got a task on my desk and to like implement sounds for this, and I turned this in and there was no variation, there was only 2 different versions of the sound, I would probably get it sent back to me and be told to redo it. So like, it's just interesting. Different studios, different paradigms, different budgets and stuff like that. It's kind of funny to see in some ways, like we've advanced so far as an industry, and in others we've kind of taken a step back with certain things, or we just like reprioritize things that are no longer as much in the forefront. But that being said, let's actually start playing the fucking game. Hi, Shinigami. It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Shinigami says BRB because you're going to watch The Mentalist. Yeah, no worries. I was actually just watching The Boys a little bit before the stream myself. I was interested in like catching up before the new season concludes. So feel free to come and go as you see fit, obviously. I don't know if anybody else will join. I hope so. I think Saria will probably be around in a little bit. You went to sleep at 5:56 or so and woke up at 12:30. Oh, damn. You must be jet lagged from your trip, right? I imagine you're pretty fatigued after all that. Hope it was a good time. Yeah, Link has a very nice arm design. He has a nice design overall. I'm not sure why he's in his trunks. Like, the last time I saw him, he basically just, like, kind of, what do you call it? He was knocked out, he lost consciousness, and so a certain amount of time, passed, and we don't really know what's happened yet. Oh, that's very kind of you. I appreciate you sticking around to keep me company. But like, if you want to like duck out for a while and watch the show, like, don't let me keep you. I'll just be rambling and ranting about whatever for the next couple hours anyway. So on that note, I do think it's interesting, as an intro area, that they put you in a confined space with climbable things, but the climbable things are a little bit clunky. I'm guessing that the reason, like, they wanted to give you a safe space to kind of experiment with just how movement feels in general, and also, like, give you maybe a little bit of an opportunity to scramble around. But, compared to the, you want to stay? Oh, that's very nice of you. I appreciate that. Compared to the opening of Breath of the Wild, you didn't get a sword or any weapon for a little while. Now you're starting with a sword, and along with that, one of the first things they teach you or encourage you to learn is to use it, right? They make it an active part of the tutorial process by putting a barrier here up that you can only cut down, you can only get around with your sword. Now, I don't remember, I'd have to go back and spend more time with Breath of the Wild, but I don't think that there were many obstacles that required you to use your sword to, like, cut through like that. So I wonder genuinely if, like, this is foreshadowing they're going to be, like, more sword-based puzzles, which would be really cool. Ooh, that's very nice. Let's see. Shinigami says, what do you think of my comments regarding working memory index and processing speed index? Yeah, I think that made a lot of sense. I think you obviously know the topic very well. I think some of the details might have gone over my head a tiny bit. But I think overall, it's important to distinguish between different types of intelligence, and since memory is something that informs intelligence, obviously, it's important. It makes total sense that there would be different kinds of memory, and understanding like how to draw a distinction between them absolutely makes sense. Is very valid. So I appreciate your insight and your analysis there. So I want to see what happens, right? Like, oftentimes as developers, we will try to guide players along a certain path, but players are, human beings. Human beings are unpredictable, and everybody has different learning styles and approaches to things. And so what might seem incredibly intuitive and logical and reasonable for one person would make no sense to another. So what happens, it seems pretty clear that I'm supposed to go to the glowy thing, and most people who have any amount of curiosity will go to the glowy thing. But are there other options? What does the game allow us to do, and where does it, like, block us off? So if we, keeping in mind that the game itself is, you know has an aspect to it that is inherently, like, oriented around puzzles, and exploration, and, like, both environmental and logical, problem solving, puzzle solving, it makes sense that the game should start giving you options to mess around with, experiment with, and to safely fail, at those things. So even though it's incredibly obvious what I'm supposed to do here, even if it weren't, if for whatever reason I as a player didn't process that I was supposed to go up to this thing, there's still stuff for me to learn here, right? Like, oh, this is cool as well, right? We can practice swimming in a safe environment. This should be familiar to you if you've already played Breath of the Wild, but even if you haven't been playing it, you could potentially even, like, test your limits a little bit while learning that, like, okay, there are shallow zones that I can swim in. I consume stamina to swim in the deep areas. I consume stamina to scale things as well. So it gives you enough of an opportunity to fuck around with your, like, core mechanics and start to get a preview of what exploration verbs you're going to have later on. Oh, that's actually kind of cute. You got, like, some little plant growth here. So yeah, I think that sort of thing, it can be very good, just to give the players a little opportunity for soft failure or safe failure, if that makes sense. The clarification as well, because I made the mistake as well. Oh, what mistake did you make? As for whether or not I have more questions, I don't have any right off the top of my head, but of course, if you want to share anything, I'm happy to listen. Yeah, so let's go over here and examine this thing. That sound design, so beautiful. Nintendo sound designers have a tendency to make things very musical and tonal, which I really appreciate. A lot of modern sound design is kind of converged or coalesced on very, very precise, like, pinpoint, almost mechanical sounds for a lot of things, which is fine, but it does get a little samey after a while. Nintendo always has this, like, very beautiful sound design palette and aesthetic that I have always really appreciated. Alright, so that being said, let's see. Giving us a glowing thing on the... Oh, wait, hang on. Can you maybe go back there at some point and swim deeper as you get more stamina? That would be interesting. I don't know if there's a dive button. I can definitely swim around a little bit. But, yeah, I don't think there's a way to dive, at least not currently. I don't know if this game has, like, iron boots or anything else like that that lets you sink. Although I would be curious to see if that winds up being the case later on. The mistake I'm not telling you the difference of short-term and long-term memory. Oh, yeah, that's... Well, I think because, like, when people use the term smart, or when people use the term, like, I remember or whatever, like, that's actually smart. They're using the soft fail opportunity to, like, incorporate some swimming practice, I guess you could say. They could have just dropped you down directly on the floor. Let's see, can I grab this? They could have just dropped you, like, on a hard surface, but they're giving you the opportunity to practice with water a little bit as well. But yeah, let's see. Well, this is nice. We're starting to get a little bit more vegetation here. Jump. Okay. Oh, here we go. There's a little diving moment there. Sort of. We don't really go under the water. But what does it say? Oh, okay. So we're learning some jumping. You know, that's interesting. I feel like there's going to be a lot of, like, aerial diving and maneuvering in this game overall. So it makes sense to kind of give the player a little nudge in the direction of, like, oh yeah, it's safe to dive. You can... It's sort of like psychologically priming you for that, if that makes sense. Here's another slight escalation of the same topic. Let's see. Now, this time the water was a little bit shallower. I really love the sound of like, splashing in the deep water. It's got a nice, like, thick tonality to it. Really, really nice there. Okay. So oftentimes, like, a very common, very well established trope of game design is to, introduce the player to one concept and then immediately reintroduce the same concept with a slight variation. So we've had one simple jump, one slightly more pronounced jump, and now it's culminating and we're getting one more even further advanced jump. But by this point, like, even if you're a little bit intimidated by jumping from height, I feel like the game is trying to tell you, like, no, 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 it's okay, right? Like, when you jump from height, it will be safe as long as there is, at least a body of water underneath. So it's introducing you to the concept of, like, there may be safe jumps and there are, like, fixed jumping points from where you yeah. That's an interesting way of phrasing that. Yeah, the show itself is one Shinigami that deals with some really dire topics, and so I would recommend it for an adult audience and understand that there's going to be some potentially triggering subject material there. But yeah. So that being said, I think I might, just for the sake of, like, viewers, I might hide that comment. Not to be too stingy or anything, but I think that, like, I just want to be sensitive to certain topics on the stream. But yeah, if you want to talk about that stuff, feel free to message me on the on stream later, or like on Discord later, because it's definitely something that, like, the way that that kind of content gets represented in media is a very interesting topic, because it's like you got to make sure to do it with a certain amount of respect that can um, very easily be come across as crass and everything. Yeah, I know. I just nothing personal. I just felt like the use of the emoji there was kind of insensitive to the topic. I have a very hair trigger about discussing that stuff. So let's just leave that sort of thing for Discord for now. But yeah, no worries either way. Anyway, so yeah, let's jump off. I think the game is, like, really doing its oh, well, there you go. Landing in water even from a great height will prevent you from taking fall damage. Um so yeah, I'm a little annoyed at that, honestly, because I feel like the game was already doing a wonderful job of implicitly, intuitively teaching you how to do this, and then they had to shove that message in your face. I'm guessing that was potentially the result of some focus testing where maybe they tried that out and it just didn't work. Like, people didn't get it, they didn't understand. And so sometimes you need to make concessions like that. But, you know, personally, I love it when games can pull off the intuitive teaching without having to flash up a tutorial message. It's kind of acceptable in intro areas like this, but at the same time, it's like, you already succeeded. Have a little bit more confidence in yourself, you know? I think it's important that the treasure chest that there is a treasure chest here, because it's rewarding you for exploring and taking a plunge, literally. Simple classic legwear, they're well worn and showing their age, but they've still got a few good years left in them. It can be a bit cumbersome to have to tie the straps. Okay. This stuff is like, I do genuinely think that it's fine if you want to pause the sim to go over, like, menuing. That's a meta element anyway, so I don't really mind the game being interrupted for that as much, for whatever reason. But yeah, let's see. Select, equip. Nice. I like that sound too. Ow. So yeah, everything in their sound design has either a vocal element or a musical element. Okay, so what's interesting is that we haven't really engaged with the arm itself all that much so far, whereas the Sheikah slate was very explicitly called out, if I remember correctly, from Breath of the Wild, but that's fine. So I think this is potentially a really powerful moment for subverting expectations, because right in the previous game when we came out, we had a beautiful vista that was overlooking, we were overlooking a cliff, so I think players might be expecting to see something like that. They will see, it's interesting that you can see that kind of island before it fades away. They will see this, and then they will come out here and be like, oh, holy shit, okay. So this is like a whole step up based on what we had before. And this is genuinely really fucking cool, right? Like, I've always had a soft spot, so to speak, or like a fascination with castles in the sky, cities in the sky. Like the that one temple from Twilight Princess is absolutely my favorite when you go up into the sky. When they revealed Farum Azula um, in fucking um, Elden Ring, I was so happy. I was ecstatic, like because I was like, "Oh, this feels like it was made just for me." Like, there's something very, very special to me about like floating islands, floating cities, things like that. So, I am really excited to see where this goes. Um, oh, the right arm must be useful. Yeah, I think it's visual, maybe more visually, more subtly called out than just Zelda being like, "That is a Sheikah slate. Take it, put it in your pocket." Right? Like, so it's fine that it's not. It's signposted without being like explicitly shoved in your face, which is fine. Um, so right out of the gate, yeah, it does look fucking beautiful, doesn't it? If we take a look down there, we can I think I'm starting to see maybe some echoes of the previous game in that there's a very clearly designated ice area, it looks like. um there is, well, I don't think that's a fire area, but there is something that is called out as being more like fire adjacent, I guess, in terms of its color scheme, but yeah, I'm probably stretching there. They have various bodies of water, which is interesting. um and now at this point we've already been told that, like, okay, jumping is safe even if it seems intimidating. Don't worry, you can see the bodies of water below, so feel free to give it a shot. Now I'm going to be an idiot and I'm going to immediately go and jump over here and see what happens. But what does the game do if I explicitly disobey its instructions? Well, it forces me back. Not just for the game design, the late night times to bed. Yeah, it could be very serene. So this is very nice, but I do kind of wish they hadn't taken control away. Like, find a way to let me still input stuff while also swiveling the camera around me. The fact that I can't control this makes it feel like it belongs to me a little less. Oh, I like the fact that they're including a dragon this early. Oh, you can accelerate. Wait. Oh, that's cool. Ooh, they really synced up the music very nicely there. That must have been difficult to find a hook for detecting how far above the ground you are and then planning that music correctly. Okay, this is very serene, very beautiful. I like this. Okay, so far it seems like, maybe slightly ironically, that, oh, that's so cool. Like, they have so different densities of the lily pads. The way that they froth and pop and stuff like that, that is really cool. I really like that. It seems like water is going to be a bigger feature in the game, which is like not exactly ironic, but maybe slightly unexpected because of how aerial the game is in nature. It's kind of interesting that they wound up also making water such a big feature. I'd be curious to see where they go with that. It's just kind of stands out to me that, like, yeah, that they're taking so much time to like let you play around on the water. But I think it's great that they're also, you know, they're probably got to a point where they were like, okay, we want a bigger, oh yeah, it's Tears of the Kingdom, yeah, exactly. I wonder genuinely if that's like a deliberate inclusion there, if that's, you know, if that'll wind up, if the presence of water will actually wind up being like a big part of the plot like that. You might be onto something. But yeah, I think it's great that they're letting you kind of experiment and play with water in a way that has like different types of platforms, and the platforms are dynamic. They feel like they're not alive in the traditional sense, but I mean, plants are alive, but they're also, you know, they are moving, they are reacting to you, they're, you know, interactive actors, and that is, it makes the whole space feel alive, and it starts to prime you again on like, well, things that I land on and take refuge on in this world might have, you know, particular reactions to me. It's good to see that stuff early on. Wooden branches such as this are pretty common, but it's surprisingly well balanced. It doesn't do much damage or can serve as a weapon in a pinch. Okay, so press and hold, and then select. There we go. Nice. Still gonna want to use my master sword. Yeah, and the water sounds are just very, like, I don't know, delicate but satisfying. Hey Michael, how's it going? Good to see you. Hope you're having a good night. Shinigami says the opening sequence is so cool. Yeah, it's really, really cool. It's very, very, very well done, very lovingly crafted, clearly. If you must know, says Shinigami, in the COTE, Cognitive Functions of Intelligence, is COTE an acronym, C-O-T-E? The most important part is Fluid Reasoning Index. Oh, cool. Could you expand on that? What's that referring to? I think you mentioned that before. I just don't remember the specifics. But yeah, Michael, I think, didn't I see you in stream recently? Were you on Eon's stream, or maybe it was Abstract a few days ago? But it's cool. I keep seeing the same faces in the community, and it's, oh, I wanted to see if I can climb up here. And it's really nice to see, like, not only is the vibe in the community, these days, like, seeming like it's on an uptick, but it's also cool to see some of the same faces amongst different, places, like showing support and everything. So yeah, it's good to see you. And hey, Ursa's here too. Welcome, Ursa. Thank you so much for stopping by. I think I bumped into you too recently. So yeah, more evidence that we're you know, there's a nice little community kind of forming here that I like to see. I would highly encourage you to check out Eon's stream. I think I forget how exactly you spell his name. It's like L_Eon EON. And he was the guy that Sage of Thick Calves was responding to previously, and like responding to his stream. And I went to his streams, and he's a super chill dude. He is taking a sort of a hardline stance on toxicity. Like, he will time out people for calling others stupid. He's trying to foster like an open debate community and encouraging people to sort of like safely and calmly test their debate skills together. So I'm gonna try to catch his stream tomorrow, because he's doing like a kind of a chill debate practice stream, and I'm really hesitant to get into debating in general, because I don't want to fall into like an obsessive toxic pit. But at the same time, I think, you know, if I don't learn to communicate better and more like in real time with people where I can be challenged more, I think I'm missing out on an opportunity to grow and to connect with people. So I went on his stream just to kind of have like a super chill debate with this dude called Thine, and it was like short and sweet and fun. And I'm hoping to stop by tomorrow to talk about, I don't even remember, there's a list of like random topics, and it's just sort of like pick a position and see how it goes. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I encourage you guys to check out his stream, especially if you're interested in One Piece. He's been talking a lot of One Piece stuff. Let's see. Shinigami says, I need a hug. Yeah, you doing okay? Oh, core, I understand. Gotcha. You missed out on your workout and your chance to call your girlfriend. Didn't you go with your girlfriend to Japan? Was she there with you? I thought so, but, yeah, I'm sure she'll understand. Ooh, okay. So this is interesting as well. In the previous game, like, we didn't really get much of a tutorial for weapons. We got a tutorial on how to equip them, but I don't think the game explicitly ever taught us how to use lock-on. That being said, I do really like the design of this creature. It's interesting, it's refreshing, it's cool to me that we're starting with something like this as opposed to another Moblin or whatever, right? What was that? Oh, this is the run button, of course. It seems like the music is also scaling based on the intensity of the fight. I like the little vocal gestures the enemy is using as well. Let's see. I never actually managed to do a flurry rush in the other games. Let's see if I can pull it off here. No, I guess not. Too slow. Nope, that didn't work. Okay, I'm gonna just start fighting it for real now. Yeah, it's a really cool enemy design. I think it's also... Oh, that's cool, the critical hit. See, that's the sort of thing where I'm like, okay, I don't love the fact that critical hit information was being delivered in the form... Soldier Construct Horn. I don't love the fact... Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I don't love the fact that was delivered in the form of, like, a fucking tutorial message that shows up and interrupts things on the screen like that. But at the same time, that's one of those things where it's like, okay, I get it. Like, how do you convey that the final charge of a weapon, like the last gasp, so to speak, is going to do more damage? There are ways to do it, but I can also understand wanting to make that thing in particular super, super clear. So far, this game feels like it is assuming a little bit of knowledge pre-existing from the player. But that's okay, because, you know, it is something where the overall, like, configuration of the game is going to be a little bit more familiar to people in general, in all likelihood. Like that, right? So, when I was dashing just now, notice that, like, if I stop dashing before my stamina meter runs out, I go back into, like, just a normal run. But if I consume all my stamina, right, then I'll go into a slow run until my meter recharges. I didn't need a fucking tutorial message to pop up to explain that to me. I just figured it out through, if you want to call it trial and error, through experimentation, through just, like, you know, playing through the game normally. Now, I can just hear it in my head. I can just imagine that there was probably a debate where somebody was like, no, we need to fucking do this. Oh, hang on a minute. Can I just eat this? Eat apple, please. Select. How do I... This seems to indicate that I'd be able to eat it, but it's not letting me for some reason. What the hell? Okay, whatever. I must be doing something wrong. Yeah, so, like, I can just imagine the meeting that people would have had, and the back and forth that would have eventually led to that decision being made or not being made. So yeah. Now, I think the... let me catch up on chat, sorry. Any scaling takes from Eon that you disagree with? Good question, Michael. I don't know his actual scaling well enough to be able to comment much on that, unfortunately. At least not yet. I'm mostly just going based off of the vibe that we had in stream. But certainly I'm doing this deliberately, by the way. Certainly... okay, gotcha. I will be interested in returning to the stream and, like, talking about the takes more specifically. I think I also was, like, actively volunteering bad takes because the title of his recent stream was like, what is your worst streaming take? And so I was just coming up with dumb topics. Let's see. She didn't understand I meant to say core. Oh yeah, no worries. Oh, she stayed in Germany. Okay, gotcha. I don't know if you missed it, but fluid reasoning index focused on the part of the brain. Wooden stick as a weapon. Okay. Press and hold. Release. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting too distracted here. Fluid reasoning index focused on the part of the brain that relates to problem solving and adaptability. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's really cool. I like Eon's non-calc approach. It aligns with authorial conventions like conveyance when trying to display power. I'd use the word continent if I wanted the characters to be continent level. Yeah, that makes sense. That's the thing, like... So I'm gonna, like, slightly contradict some of the ways of... some of the things I've said before, right? In that, like, on the one hand... Oh, damn. On the one hand, I think it's, like... When we're talking about universal, for example, like a universal feat, I will be very clear that, like, the term universe means something very specific. And so, like, it's not safe to assume that a character is universal just because they made something that we can semantically define as a universe. It has to actually scale to whatever universe we're using for our scaling metrics, right? We have to agree on those terms. But at the same time, like... There's also, like, a more chill approach where, especially with stuff like mountain level, for example, right? Like, obviously mountains vary greatly in size, and so it's important to understand, like, what we're calibrating that term to. But also, like, I'm not going to get mad if somebody sees a character destroy a mountain within the context of a given universe and is like, look, that character's mountain level because they blew up that mountain. As long as the mountain is, like, pretty big and is a... Which, how do you define that, right? But, like, as long as the mountain is clearly, like, a substantial structure within that verse, then we can just sort of, like... I guess this would be, like, a Grice's Maxim kind of thing, maybe? I think this is what people mean when they refer to that term. That we can probably just intuitively understand that what we're talking about is, like... a mountain of X size, and X size corresponds to this mountain on the page, which we can use as an eyeball metric for the purpose of having a discussion. And we don't need to be uber specific about it. The context in which we do need to be highly specific, though, is when we start talking about debates, and if people are making positive claims about, like, yes, this character has the power equivalent to be able to blow up, like, entire galaxies, like trillions of galaxies or whatever, well, then, yeah, you need to make sure you know what you're talking about, right? Because the downside of something like Grice's Maxims is that if people have different understandings intuitively of what the, like, intuitive common uses of words mean, then we can come to completely different results, even if we're not, you know, intending to deceive each other, even if we're, like, genuinely trying to understand each other as closely and as well as possible. So that being said, I don't think there's any water down there. I do find the whole, like, teleport you back up if you fail thing to be a little bit of a cop-out, but I understand. You know, at the end of the day, the designers of a game get to define the rule set of the game, and the most important thing, I think, is that, like, the rules should be compelling, but even more important than that is that the rules need to be consistent. They need to be fair and repeatable. And so I don't love the fact that the game is like, if you like it teleports you up from the ground, like when you're 20 feet away from the ground. To me, there's no diegetic narrative justification for that I've seen so far. Like in Skyward Sword, they create the excuse that there are, like, these knights who are patrolling, you know, on the loft wings or whatever, and they save you. I haven't seen that here. Maybe it'll come in later. So if they don't do that, I'll be irritated. But at the same time, I can accept that the game is telling me, okay, this is the rule. If you want to go safely, you have to fall into water, or you're gonna get hurt. You're gonna come back, and you have to try again. That's fine, as long as that's consistent. Whatever you do, do not let the green circle empty. You mean like this when I'm doing, like, stamina consumption? Yeah, I think that they're kind of signaling, right, that there's going to be consequences if I let it deplete fully. If I do that here, right, it's relatively safe because I don't, like, I can still attack. I can't do, like, a full-on swing attack, though, and my movement's going to be impaired. But if I internalize that lesson and then I, like, intuitively start to try to apply it, oh wow, the cloud looks really good. The lighting through the lighting around the cloud like that looks really, really fucking good. That was great. But yeah, like, if I internalize that lesson, I can just sort of intuitively apply it to other things, and that makes sense. It's a little bit more instruction that the game is providing us with. Shinigami says, oh, let me check this thing out first. Make some progress. Am I gonna have to fight this thing? Well, maybe. Or maybe not. Looks kind of cute. Oh, interesting. Yeah, let me see. Whatever you do not let the green circle empty. Learning ability, logical reasoning, abstract thinking, pattern recognition. Like I said, it's the brain's lab. Oh, yeah. That's a cool way of describing it. Shinigami says, Luna saw my list of weapons, congratulate my demons. Fluid reasoning index as a result is incredibly important to a detective. Yeah, absolutely. It would be essential, right, for solving cases. You prefer to use calcs if it's something that can be supported. Yeah, I think, like, calcs are just one more metric, one more vector, or whatever you want to call it, for understanding a series. At least these days, like, I'm of the belief that you should consider using any available tool that you want to, that you think will increase your understanding or be interesting or compelling to talk about, right? Like, why not? But just, you need to make sure to know, like, the intended and the appropriate use for any given tool, right? I also, I love the fact that, like, if you look at the wrists of this little character, and then you'll notice that the little segments of the arms that make up the arms, Rayman style, right, are, like, they slowly move in sequence, and then that sequence seems to follow up through the torso and then up through the like the spine and the neck. You can see, like, the bottom rung of the neck will pulse, and then the one above it and the one above that, right? Very, very, very cool. Grants the thing, it almost makes it feel like it's got, like, a circulatory system where it's like blood pumping through its quote-unquote veins. And the design of it feels mechanical and organic at the same time, which is a difficult feat to pull off. I think It kind of reminds me of the enemies in like Horizon Zero Dawn and shit like that. It's very cool. Shinigami says, "This is why I think Dangai Ichigo's mountain busting feat is above Madara's mountain slicing feat, even if you count Madara's feat higher." Oh, interesting. Okay. Could you expand on that? I'm not quite sure what you mean. Um, Michael Dorsey says, with all these robotics in the game, it makes you wonder what kind of aesthetic slash setting they're going to have for the next 3D Zelda game. Yeah, this so far feels like a pretty significant departure from the previous title. Um, so I'm hoping that now that they've established their, like they've, you could argue that with Breath of the Wild, they wanted to maintain a certain similarity of aesthetics, and they didn't want to like break away too far. So although I disliked I felt like the Zoran, the Zor, not the Zoran, the Goron and the Zora and all that. I felt that some of that stuff was a little bit repetitive. Like, do we really need another Zora's Domain and another Death Mountain? Like, why don't we invent a brand new thing like the Okos or something like that, right? Like, regardless of whether or not you love those characters, in Wind Waker, the inclusion of the Ruto was something that was new. Like, I want more new stuff. But a counter argument to that is like, well, we don't want to overwhelm the players with stuff that's totally new and feels totally alien and bizarre. So let's keep like a certain amount of tropes. Let's keep a certain amount of pillars in the game so people know this is a Zelda game, and then we'll continue expanding and going our own direction. So if that's the case, then I can't wait to see what they do with the next one, because now, if anything, they've earned the right to go fucking crazy with it, right? So, um, oh, hey Ryan, how's it going? Thank you so much for checking out the stream. Hope you are doing well tonight. I like that profile picture. It looks like a little, is that a Shiba Inu? It's really cute. Have they played the game before? I don't know if folks in chat have played. Have you guys played? This is my first time playing it, so I am like totally going in blind. I have had one big plot thing spoiled for me, but that's it. Um, Chakra Network. Yeah, it might very well be. It kind of looks like that, right? Um, in chapter 418, Ichigo goes to fight Aizen, and with a swing of his sword's air pressure, Ichigo vaporized a mountain. Oh, okay, yeah, and then comparing that to Madara, he just sort of like cut off the top of it, right? So that's very different. Is there a log? Oh, cool. Princess Zelda left something for you in my care. Oh, her camera. With a Pura pad. I am told that it is an invaluable tool that will provide you with direction. Okay. Now, sure, Madara sliced a potentially bigger mountain, but the thing is, it was a slice from a Susanoo sword that is comparable to the mountain itself. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So a smaller sword with a bigger feat from Ichigo there. Purapad, Princess Zelda's prized device. It has a variety of features that are essential for adventure. Okay, so we are kind of getting the pad equivalent, or the Sheikah Slate equivalent. Yeah. Okay, so the map looks familiar but different at the same time. Yeah, this intro area is going to be pretty massive, as we can see. Find Princess Zelda. Orion says, is it Orion Eigeldinger? Hopefully it's cool if I just say Orion. I feel like the Gorons in Breath of the Wild /Tears should have had more tech, like the Gorons in Twilight Princess. The dog's a Chow Chow. Okay, sorry, I couldn't quite see. That's very cool looking. Yeah, you have to wonder like why they were kind of left behind technologically. I guess you could say like the Gorons maybe thematically are kind of meant to be a little bit more primitive or whatever. Like maybe they're more they're less technologically advanced. But the Zora, if anything, like they kind of feel more analogous to like high elves from other forms of fantasy. So I could see them delving a little bit more into tech. Not really a gamer myself, says Michael, but at least I haven't gamed since that late 2000 Super Mario Bros. Wii game. Most I'll do nowadays is watch cutscenes. Oh, that's fair. Have you seen any cutscenes recently that you've really like vibed with? Barry Nice says, I haven't played this game, but I know it's probably pretty good. Yeah, it seems to be pretty polarizing, right? Like, some people are like, it's a masterpiece. Some people really bounced off of it. More so than Breath of the Wild, I think it's been very divisive. But most people who have played it, that I've heard their opinions of it, they speak pretty favorably of it. And then they all kind of have a similar thing where it's like, I really loved it, and then I just randomly kind of stopped playing it and forgot about it, which is kind of weird. Ichigo vaporized the top of a mountain. Yeah, I think I understand where you're coming from there. It seems fair. Like, not having seen the feat itself, it still seems reasonable. Using the distant past, many rites and ceremonies of the kingdom were held there. But no more. Now it is a lonely place. No one visits. So it's cool. I like the mystery of not knowing like how long it's been since the last time we well, were conscious, right? You don't really know what's going on. Everything seems very different. These new novel characters are being introduced, and you're not entirely sure like what their motivations are just yet, or where they come from. So I like this. It's a very interesting setup for the game. Maybe even more so than the previous one. Princess Zelda over there. Okay. And yeah, like the right out of the gate, like this an intro area is more fragmented. It feels a little bit more dangerous, a little bit more wild, than the previous one. So it does. I don't know. There's more going on. It feels like more untamed. Damn it! I'm just like writing the dad jokes for myself, right? Like with the dragon and the Temple of Time, obviously taking on a very different aesthetic and everything. Yeah, it's really cool so far. This is the Garden of Time. My records indicate the Princess Zelda's waiting at the... Okay. Structure visible to the north is Temple of Time. It was used in distant past. Right. Now it's a lonely place. Head to the indicated location. Take care as you do so. Alright, thanks, buddy. Yeah, very cool. I'm already very intrigued about, like, what these various structures are, what that, like, orb or sphere is over there. I find these creatures, like, simultaneously a little bit creepy, but also very endearing, which I think is probably the goal. Let's see. Michael Dorsey says, could be more conservatively say because Mountain Feet was pulverization. Interesting. I'll be curious to see what Shinigami has to say about that. Ryan says maybe it's because the Gorons like to work in the mines and having it automated would be less fun for them. Yeah, that makes sense. Although, I think in Breath of the Wild, they do have some technology in the form of the mine carts and stuff like that. So they're not inherently opposed to, like, industry and automation. But, and, you know, obviously, like, any form of... I wish Saria were here to answer this, but I think, like, they must have some form of stone agriculture in that, like, they cultivate the stones that are best for them, that they, you know, that are the ones that they prefer to eat, right? Or maybe they just mine for those. I guess that makes more sense. They're not growing the fucking things. But yeah, it's interesting. I think they obviously, like, make buildings. They have art. They have, like, smiths and stuff like that. They have music. They have culture. So, but they're just not as technologically advanced as, like, the Hylians are, apparently. I'm excited for you to meet the Yiga. I'll give you a hint when you get to the surface. Oh, awesome, yeah. The Yiga, aren't those, like, the assassins? I think they were in the first game, too, right? Also, set of cutscenes I kept up with. Oh, Dispatch. Really dug Matthew Mercer's performance. Yeah, I was watching a streamer play that, and it looked pretty good. Did you like the game overall? The whole mountain just went poof in that moment. That's true. Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, I thought I recognized the name. Yeah. So I think it's also good that they're giving you things to hit with your sword. Obviously, or with your weapon. Obviously, just having a weapon at all, most people will want to swing it around and experiment with it. But having things that directly reward that experience makes a lot of sense as well. I also wonder if they're doing something quietly where, like, they will spawn tree branches off of trees. Like, if I were to waste every weapon in my inventory and then, like, go, like, leave here and kind of go back to that platform, would they have something under the hood, so to speak, that was listening for that and then, like, spawned an extra tree branch here to make sure that I never ran out of weapons? That's something that, you know, they can manage pretty easily. Oh, hello. Seem to be new here. Do you intend to use that weapon against the soldier constructs? The Zonai who created us gave them strict orders to protect this land. They will regard you as a trespasser if they spot you, and their directive is to eliminate all trespassers. You will have little choice in this scenario but to fight them. It is better that you not hold back on our account. I have a piece of advice if you choose to engage with them. It is crucial to maintain a proper distance and target your opponents. Swinging haphazardly will not yield results. Oh, great. Yeah. We practice targeting me, but please do not actually attack. And I'm sure that, like, immediately what everybody's going to do is attack. Oh, okay, so it goes into a defensive mode. I love the design of these things. They're so cool. Oh, that's so charming. I love it. Really nice design of that creature. Michael Dorsey says, for getting and scaling to their characters, what's been Link's best feats of AP and speed in the games you've played? I think, again, like, sorry, would probably be the right person to ask about that, but if we assume that the light arrows can actually travel at the speed of light, well, he's not the speed of light, but he has access to a projectile that is light speed, which is significant, certainly. And then I think just the power that he gets access to via the Triforce is something that's, you know, bestowed upon him from deities. So that's round hopping cookie with monster parts. Cool. Yeah, that is definitely something. Like, when you consider the things that he can do with those, when imbued with the power of gods, that's probably significant. But honestly, like, probably the most impressive, like, feat of strength that he has in, like, the games that I know best, which is like Ocarina, are like when he gets the gloves that let him pick up those massive fucking huge stone pillars or whatever. If you were to be able to make an argument that oh, can I pick this up? Oh, hi friend, there's a little Korok. If you could make the argument that, like, he could use that same amount of force for a punch or something like that, then that would be pretty impressive for the verse. But things are relatively grounded, I think. I didn't know someone like you could see children of the forest. Well, if you see Hetsu, please return this to him. Nice, okay. Yeah, I think that was a nice way of introducing that little mini game, so to speak, you know, kind of leading you along a path, encouraging you to notice things that might be a little out of the ordinary and being willing to take a detour, as well as kind of giving you an opportunity to try some light platforming in a safe environment. I mean, this is all, the design of these objects, I don't know how to describe it, but they seem friendly. They are, to me, the fact that they're like soft and color graded and a little round around the edges, like, sort of indicate to me that it almost kind of feels like like a climbing gym or something. It feels like they're inviting you to come and, like, romp around on them. So I don't know how they achieved that. I don't know if it was deliberate or not. It feels like it must have been. But something about the way that they're kind of like staggered as well, almost like steps, makes me want to just run over to them and play on them. And my cat is now in front of the screen. Hello, friend. How you doing, buddy? Hi. Wanna play Zelda? I gotta get a cat cam set up at some point. Michael says, I thought Dispatch was alright, definitely preferred some parts to others, also dubbed Jeffrey Wright as Chase. Oh, nice, nice. Orion says, sorry, my cat is in the way. I wish durability didn't exist for weapons, or you could pay a blacksmith to repair them. Yeah, we talked about that in the Breath of the Wild stream, where, like, the inclusion of breakable weapons is obviously, like, a huge fundamental part of the game. And I think it's one of those things that is going to be divisive as well, where people who like it, I will hear argue that it forces you to vary up your strategies and to think quickly and keeps things interesting. And people who don't like it, myself included, will be like, well, yeah, but then it devalues any individual weapon you have, so you can't really form an enduring relationship with those weapons. And then if weapons are going to be your primary source of like, if you're going to start sculpting your tactics around those weapons and then identifying with weapons that you prefer and stuff like that, then I feel like you're potentially just going to wind up oh, no, sorry, I lost my train of thought. What I was gonna say is, like, if you're using weapons as a primary source of reward for, like, quests and dungeons and stuff like that, and the weapons wind up being kind of disposable, well, then it can make the reward feel less valuable. And that, in turn, over time, can wear down on your sense of, like, actually wanting to engage with those areas, right? It's like, well, why would I even bother going over here? At the end of the day, it's just going to be another fucking thing that's just going to disappear, right? It can wind up making things feel, like, a little discouraging. That being said, I think it was cool that we have an enemy that had a different type of weapon. That weapon was also, you know, apparently I think it dealt more damage to us as well. And now that this is on fire, we get an opportunity to experiment with fire, even without attacking anything. Like, we are seeing its effect on the environment in the form of, like, the fire that is... One second. Oh, cool. Yeah, it's creating an updraft. That's awesome. Select material to throw. Oh, I can actually throw this. Yeah, so that's actually really cool. The fire went out. Yeah, seeing that it has a tangible effect on the ground is really cool. I noticed that there was a little thing that popped up that said unbearable heat, which is nice. You're standing in the fire. Yep, and the heat actually does go up as you get closer to the fire. You can see that on your radar. That's really cool. Everything here is like, it's all clicking. It's all making sense. Maybe it feels like a little bit oh, that's cool. I actually accidentally toasted the leaf there. That was really nice. Little plume of smoke coming out. Oh, okay, and he puts it away if you get too close to the tree. Yeah, so the systems in this game feel very organic. They feel very alive, just like in the previous one. Like, it feels like the world is actively listening to everything you're doing, and it has a response, which is great. I'm guessing... Oh, shit. I didn't realize I could... I feel like maybe some of the fires that I'm setting are not intentional. Oh, I see. It's because I was walking through the bushes, and the bushes got set on fire. Okay, that's actually really cool. But then, will this get set on fire too? Okay, so this is there's some inconsistent rules with what gets set on fire, which is slightly less than ideal. But also, you know, it's an interesting system. It's something that not a whole lot of games have done, like fire propagation being an active game mechanic. I can count on like a few fingers the games I can actually think of that do that. It's kind of cool. Let me check up on chat real quick. When the nice constructs go into defense mode, they look like a helmet. Yeah, I was just thinking about that, right? They kind of look like a Kabuto style helmet, which is an interesting choice. I wonder if that's gonna wind up coming back later. Very nice says, I think only certain weapons should break permanently. Like wooden sticks can't be repaired, but you can use them to repair spears, for example. Yeah, I think I would agree with that overall. I think the caveat of that, right, is that if you want to design a system that very specifically and implicitly forces the player to cook with it. I'm losing my train of thought. You explicitly want the player to be incentivized to like constantly experiment and switch and swap around. What I would probably do is like even if I like didn't particularly like a given piece of food or a given weapon. Like, let's say I got a spear, and the spear did 2 damage, and never broke, but I found, like, a bunch of sticks that did 10 damage and broke immediately. I would never use them. I would only ever use the spear, even though it sucked. That's just how my brain works. 1 second, my cat is being a menace. He's getting into something he shouldn't. I'll be right back. Put this over here. I'm sure he will get in my way again. Trying to be very careful not to knock everything over because I just cleaned my room. Sorry for the interruption there. Please tell me the capture card didn't break. Yeah, this fucking Elgato capture card, it's like, I think I was just using the wrong cables last time. I swapped them out and it seems to be working, but I'm very hesitant. Like, I don't want to touch them and break anything. Okay, it looks like it's still working, thank God. Alright, yeah. Select for recipe. Oh, that's cool. So I can actually just pick a recipe and it will equip anything else that I need for that recipe. That's awesome. That's a great addition. Nice quality of life upgrade. Yeah, let's see. Can I kind of feel bad for cooking the poor frog. This feels devious. Oh, that poor frog. Oh, I feel bad. I got what I deserve. I love how they like censor it out. That's so fucking funny to me. A bizarre smell issues forth from this heap. Eating it it won't hurt you though. Probably. Cool. Yeah, I'm finding this very charming. This is very relaxing. So let's see if I can get up there. Footstep sounds are really good too. Oh, hello. Who are you guys? Oh, I love these things. I do kind of wish that we had like a Navi equivalent. Maybe the Ultra Hand or whatever will talk to us more. But I really wish we could like zoom in on certain creatures and then press a button to get info, or like do the Metroid Prime thing where we're you know, you can scan things to get more info, because I would love to learn what the fuck that bird's backstory is. Maybe we'll find out later. I don't know. But yeah, so far I really like this. I really like the openings of these games. It's just when we actually have to do stuff that I get bored. I wonder how it looks uncensored. I wonder if they even bother to model it, or if it's just like a nondescript green blob. That's cool. Nice new attack there. Keep my distance. Nice. Take a wooden stick. Nice musical clinking tonalities there with the debris that kind of fell off of it. I like that there's still plenty of room to kind of explore and get lost and go check out random stuff so far. So it doesn't feel like they're jam-packing like something that you have to do into every square inch of the terrain. They're letting you kind of, you know, fuck around and find out in a positive way. What else? Where are we going here? So, that being said, we're supposed to head towards the Temple of Time, so let's just do that. Because it doesn't, ironically though, it doesn't seem like there's too many alternate pathways to take, except for like going up to the ice place. But I don't want to do that just yet. Let's keep going. I think I actually prefer, just based on my own like aesthetic preferences, I prefer not having the king here. I prefer having there being like these odd, like maybe sentient robots. It adds an air of like more, to me anyway, like I prefer that that kind of lonely feeling. Like it feels like more Dark Souls adjacent. When can I react to that Akatsuki bankrupt video? I saw like the first couple minutes of it, and then I think I put it on my watch later playlist, and I wanted to check it out later. I just got distracted. Yeah, I was really enjoying it. It kind of reminded me of whatchamacallit, Naruto Unhinged, is that what it's called, by Barack Obese? And I fucking love that stuff. So yeah, I think it's I thought it was really good. Feel free to send me a message with the link again, so that I don't forget to watch the full thing. I do still find the placement of the jump button over the sprint to be really weird. But let me see. Did they give us more control options for that? Options. Amiibo. Camera sensitivity. Swap jump controls. 2x. Sign. No, because I don't want to sprint by pressing up either. I wish you could like arbitrarily map the controls. That's probably like an accessibility issue. Okay. Orion says, I have almost 100% of this game. I can give you some tips, though. I have never beaten a silver Lionel. I have had to have a friend help me. Oh, interesting. Are they like super high health pool or something like that? Yep. I remember trying to fight a Lionel, like I think too early in my first playthrough of Breath of the Wild, and I lost because I ran out of weapons. Even when I learned how to eventually like fight it, I was just like running out of weapons too quickly. So that's another caveat of that system. Let's just go into the Temple of Time and see what we can find in there, because I feel like I should probably at least check it since I'm right here. But yeah, what was the experience like of 100%ing it? Did you have a good time with it overall? Do you think it like is consistently fun throughout, or are there parts that kind of lag behind that are not as enjoyable? Let's see. Oh, that is kind of cool. We have an example from the little dude cooking by the fire. It's cute. Come on, come down here. Okay, there we go. That's very satisfying. We learn by the delicious smells, I assume so. Ingredients are especially fragrant when roasted by a fire. They may also be tastier and more nutritious. I would not know. You are unfamiliar to me. My apologies. Among my tasks is to explain anything that first-time visitors might require knowledge of. may have questions about this place. Please rest assured that a construct can answer them. I recall that your question was about roasting food. I roast ingredients by placing them beside the fire. I do not eat, but I am given to understand that it improves the taste. Our creators roasted ingredients in order to enhance their nutritional value. Do you have ingredients? I invite you to use this fire to roast them. Well, that's very, very friendly of you. I appreciate it. Toasty sky shrimp. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you can just, like, toast individual things as well to enhance them slightly. That makes sense. There's one specific joke I still die to. Oh, don't spoil it for me. I'll check it out for sure. Orion says, yeah, it was fun if you do all the shrines to get a cool armor set. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Do you prefer it over Breath of the Wild, or is Breath of the Wild stronger overall? I guess also I would be curious if you think it's like a good sequel too, because one of the things that I've heard as a bit of a critique of the game is that if you have never played Breath of the Wild, then it is great. But if you haven't played Breath of the Wild, you might not want to spend your time on it because it's like so similar to Breath of the Wild that you're really not getting all that much out of it, apart from like a couple of minor new things. And the minor new things are mostly like the sandboxy creative things where you're creating, you're doing the Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts things where you're making vehicles and contraptions and stuff like that. But in terms of the core experience, it treads a lot of the same ground. But again, it's sort of like, well, I think part of the appeal for a lot of people and why it was so highly regarded of, Breath of the Wild was how innovative it was compared to some of the previous games in certain aspects. And the fact that they had pulled off an open world Zelda, like a truly open world Zelda for the first time. So Tears of the Kingdom was always going to live in that shadow, so to speak, right? It's like, there's kind of no way around that unless they reinvented the wheel again, but then that would certainly be great, but that's a pretty significant challenge as well. You're welcome to warm yourself by the fire. Okay. I never played Breath of the Wild. I would love to watch together with you. Oh yeah, we can do that sometime. We could even do that on stream, like before, for the next Naruto stream as like a little bonus segment if you want. Michael Dorsey says, what's been the overall worst Zelda game you experienced, and what was the story or gameplay that was the weakest element? Let's see. I don't know. I've had such a positive reaction to most of the Zelda games. I will say that I found Skyward Sword a little less compelling overall. I think that... Oh, you know what? Skyward Sword I didn't really play enough of to have a very strong opinion on. But I really don't like Majora's Mask, and that feels very weird for me because I feel like I should. Majora's Mask is everything that I should love in a video game. One of my favorite games of all time is Drakengard, which, if you know anything about it, is like a pretty dour and miserable experience. It's been described as like outright hating the player and being like anti-player. And the music is something that people find extremely grating and like fatiguing. I like that this is like a little mini boss battle. Fatiguing and grating and obnoxious, and the story is full of completely like irredeemable, awful people. And oh, okay, cool. So the food is like distinguished from the materials. That's interesting. I don't need to do that. And I fucking love that game. It makes you feel uncomfortable. It like actually like actively fucks with your head to play that game for long periods of time. So I'm definitely gonna play it on stream at some point, and I love it. And so Majora's Mask has like this soundtrack that is abrasive and like overwhelming and kind of disturbing, and like everyone is dying or miserable or like caught in a horribly depressing existential crisis, and the land is decaying and nothing you do until the very end like matters, and maybe you're dead the whole time, and like it's there's like one of the characters gets lobotomized by aliens. It's like you would think that I would be, or like traumatized or whatever. You would think that it would be like a perfect game for me, but I really can't stand playing it. It's just so tedious and dour. Like there isn't a single area of the game that I actually enjoy spending time in. The soundtrack uses this fucking obnoxious grating oboe sound everywhere that is so irritating and unpleasant to listen to. And I want to love it because it feels like it's exactly my kind of like obnoxious fuck you kind of game. And every time I've tried to play it, I just get miserable and I don't enjoy it. I've never beaten it. I've only ever gotten as far as the stone tower.
That door will
And
open only
yeah,
to those
I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad, but
I'm sorry.
I just
did not intend to
really, really don't enjoy spending time with it
I
at
that
all.
spoke to you earlier.
Oh, hello.
That arm originally belonged to me.
I don't like his voice. I'm
I am
sorry.
Raru.
Raru. Source of the radar. It's one hell of a title. I should play Rain World. I'd be willing to try that, yeah. Is that the one with the little, like, slug cat?
Fortunately, I no longer have a physical form.
Yeah, Sasuke.
In any case,
It is actually his voice actor?
It seems to have lost the power to do so. You might be able to restore it, but you would need to enter a place filled with sacred light.
Naruto's husband, yes.
Of course. Why not visit the shrines on this island?
That's cool. Oh, it's Yuri Lowenthal. Oh, interesting. Cool, cool.
The shrines. Yes, I'm sure they are the key.
Yeah, so I don't know, it's like, you know, what is, asking me, like, what's the worst Zelda game is kind of like asking me, like, what is the, like, most disgusting pizza? I mean, like, I could think of something with, like, and that's not even a good example, because you can put shit on pizza to ruin it, but, like, nah, fuck, I can't think of a good example, but, like, I was gonna say pizza because pizza's probably my favorite food, and as long as it's got cheese and sauce, like, I'm gonna enjoy it, and as long as it has, like, not too much other bullshit on it, like anchovies or, like, weird shit, like prawns or whatever, that is just gonna ruin it. If you don't fuck it up, you know, I'll probably enjoy it, because it's just one of those things that I happen to really, really enjoy, and Zelda's the same way. I haven't played 2. I haven't played the first one, but I've played Link's Awakening, Link to the Past, and DX. Is it cheating to say that Majora's Mask is actually fine, but the Majora's Mask remake kind of sucks? Can we just... That's not really answering your question, is it? I really liked Minish Cap. I think actually I might take it back. Majora's Mask, I respect what it's doing, and I love how unique and how dour and dire it is, and I do love it aesthetically as a piece of art. I just don't love playing it. I really didn't like Link Between Worlds. I felt that game was way too over way too quickly. I thought that the high rule, low rule thing was just kind of tacky and didn't really appeal to me. The characters in the story felt like kind of derivative, kind of felt like they weren't really going anywhere. Now, I only played it once, and it was like right after it came out, so I might be being unfair. But I just don't have a positive recollection of that, and I would much rather try to play Majora's Mask again than to play Link Between Worlds. I was like... I bought a 3DS specifically to play that, and then it was over in like 6 hours. I was like, well, what the fuck? Why do I even have this now, right? So I wound up selling it right away after that. I tried to play Fire Emblem, which I actually had a decent amount of fun with, and a couple other games, but honestly, I had bought it specifically for Zelda. So I played that, and then I think I tried to play the Majora's Mask remake, and I was like... I really didn't like that either, so... Ooh, what's that? What's that sound? I love it. I don't know what that was, but it was fucking awesome. Was it the dragon, maybe? Whatever that noise is, I'm in love with it. Oh, hey, how's it going, Omni Bumney? Hope you're doing well. How is your trip? How's everything going? Oh yeah, I was gonna say like Yuri Lowenthal. I guess it's a testament to the quality of his acting that I didn't recognize his voice despite having heard Sasuke's voice a lot. Um, but that being said, I do think that that performance for Rauru is kind of bad. like, I it, it's not bad, but it just like really doesn't fit the character to me. He just sounds like a dude. Does that make sense? Same thing with Zelda, right? Like I don't know, her voice doesn't fit her aesthetic, and I don't understand what they were going for. It doesn't really make sense to me. Um, it's just very very distracting, and I think that it might be the sort of thing where like I wonder if they had a like a Japanese talent agency handle the voiceover, and it's one of those things where like I might like the sound of Japanese folks' voices to be able to be like, I would like to cast the, was it the Seiyu who did Gaara's voice in Japanese for X, Y, or Z role. But I don't know if it would actually fit and work well to an English speaking audience because, or like to a Japanese speaking audience, right? Like if I wanted to do a drama, right? Like if I wanted to make a game that was like an interactive drama, kind of like Life is Strange, and I wanted it to take place in Japan, and I was like, I really like Gaara's actor, so I'm going to cast him in the main role as a like super serious, or as like a, you know, relatively normal slice of life romantic drama character. And then like would it sound to a Japanese audience like totally out of place if he came in and he was like doing his like creepy Gaara voice? That's maybe a rough analogy, but that's kind of how I feel about some of the casting in these games. It's like the actors themselves aren't bad. They're not like doing a bad performance, but it doesn't feel like they've really been given the right direction to succeed in that character, right? They're just being themselves. They just kind of showed up in a booth and they're like, "Hi, I am Rauru. I am very very old. I am a goat. I like Dr. Pepper." Like it's just so like normal. It's not really. I don't know how to describe it. Am I making any sense? Does that make any sense at all? Um, Shinigami says, "Boy, I am so turned on by that wolf guy because some politically brain-rotted mofo tried to claim there's something going on with the wolf and Link. I forgot his name. Oh, turned off. You don't. You think that. You think Link. I'm trying to process what you said. Somebody told you that Link is in a is gay for Rauru, and because of that you hate Rauru because you hate that like headcanon ship or whatever. Am I getting that correct? The tour is going well, but I'm getting kind of impatient with how impatient my travel buddies are. Oh, are they like are you trying to like stay in one place for a little bit longer and enjoy the sights and they just want to keep rushing? Is that the sort of thing? Hope you don't feel too pressured to like you know, speed run the trip. Hopefully you get a chance to enjoy enjoy the sights and stuff. Is it distracting because Zelda's British? I actually don't mind that. I think it's a pretty well established trope that like if you want a character in an English speaking thing to sound more mystical and fantastical, making them British is probably going to make them sound a little bit more whimsical than making them American, as an example. Like take Lord of the Rings for example. The main quote unquote characters, right? The most clearly identifiable, like these are the audience surrogates, or these are the people who are going to be the audience are going to project themselves onto the most, I think, are probably going to be like Frodo and Aragorn Strider, and they just sound like decently normal American accent with a slight lilt of like something fantasy sprinkled on there, but they basically just sound like American, like common North Atlantic American speakers or whatever. But then, you know, Gandalf and Sam and you know, what's his name, Saruman, and like most of the other like side characters like that, Sean Bean's character, what's his name, Boromir, Faramir, Gimli, Legolas, like everybody else has vaguely like various forms of UK and UK adjacent accents, right? I think that's just kind of like a trope. He said, "Oh, okay, I'm not going to touch that." gonna touch that topic. Orion said, off topic, but I could actually go on about how much I love Rain World for quite some time. Yeah, please feel free. I tried it once, and for whatever reason, I wasn't like super into it at the time, but I would be more than happy to give it another shot. This was like, I think right away when it came out, so like my life is quite different now, so be happy to get into it. I really loved the aesthetic that they created, that they crafted. It was really, really good. Let's see, power scaling or shipping, which has a greater chance of being toxic? Oh, dude, I don't know. Look, in my experience, I think probably power scaling, because shipping, at the end of the day, it's harmless in that you are, by definition, kind of agreeing to engage in this fantasy, right? Like, you're not making any claims to the actual identity or ownership of the series. If you decide to ship like Harry and Hermione, for example, from the Harry Potter series, you're not saying that canonically this is what you need to believe, and here is why it's logically, mathematically the case that they're together, and like, if you don't believe this, you're an idiot and you don't belong in the community, and fuck off. Like, I don't know, I've never done any shipping and never like participated in that community, but at the same time, even the most aggressive toxic shippers come along with this idea that it's their fantasy, right? It's their constructed artificial fan creation, and they're not making any like claims to the actual ownership of the series. So if somebody comes out and like makes the most toxic, vile, disgusting and inflammatory video on like why Hermione and Harry should have been in love, that will be unfortunate if they're rude about it. But at the same time, it's not really gonna make me upset, because it's like, okay, well, that's just their opinion, right? But if somebody comes out and is like, hey guys, light speed in Naruto is undeniable, there are no counter arguments, you're not allowed to believe this, if you do, you haven't read the series, you don't understand it, sit down, shut the fuck up, shut your mouth, listen to me, I know better than you, you'll never know better than me, you don't belong here, etc., 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 that is a much bigger problem, because then it's actively propagating misinformation and shutting down dialogue and making people feel stupid and discouraging people from participating and contributing. That to me is like way worse, because it makes a claim about the nature of the original work itself. Also, I hope they're doing what I think they're gonna do. Ah, fuck me. Okay. I was really, really hoping that they were going to actually let you step into the world, so that it would be kind of like going into a Kamui dimension or something like that. Really disappointed that didn't work, or like the Gamahiro dimension. But in and of itself, that was still a really cool technique, like being able to see a projection of the inside of that space from the outside, and being able to walk around like that optical illusion. That's really, really cool. I don't know how they pulled that off. I can speculate, but actually, I think I might know how I would do something similar. Basically, well, without like getting into a whole. I saw your comment there, Shinigami. Yeah, no obligation. It's an open invitation. Specifically, like an FML response to what was happening. But yeah, so like, I guess I could speculate as to how they did that. It really doesn't matter. It's just really cool and impressive. But how fucking cool would it have been if you could have just like crossed into the barrier like that? Even if it was like a Dark Souls fog wall, the fact that they had to, that they couldn't pull that off is disappointing. But also, from a tech standpoint, they probably want to make sure that they unload all the stuff in the main world that they don't need, so that they can use as much memory as they want to within the temples, without having to worry about like assets from outside so it's like understandable. But man, that was like so so close. Orion says Jack Black should have been Rauru. Oh my god. It should have made it Chris Pratt. He's so cool. Did you see that? The announcement of the Super Mario cast a couple years ago. It's like, now we're excited to introduce Chris-san to Super Mario. He's so cool. It's just a precious moment in video game history. I would prefer no Rain World spoilers, please, because I'd like to go in blind. I haven't had anything spoiled for me, and I would like to just experience it blind if possible. Omni, I'm catching up on chat here. Omni says power scaling or shipping. Oh, that was Michael. Yep. Omni says no, it's more like they're impatient whenever we're doing something, like they don't want to take a moment to think and consider the other people of the party or stop to consider the situation. Oh my god, that would drive me crazy. Like honestly, I would probably need to just like go away and like have a solo trip or something, because like that would fucking get on my nerves very quickly. Um, see if I can find his name. Okay. Oh, Synthetic Man. Oh yeah, I don't know anything about Synthetic Man. Sorry. Let me see if I can find his name. And Omni says, and just makes a decision that often ends up making things slower and more difficult in the end. Yeah, that sucks. I mean, if you commit to being part of a party, you should keep the party's best interests in mind, so to speak. Be willing to make adjustments and be considerate of their needs. At that point, it's no longer just about you. So I appreciate your desire to or like I hope that you won't feel too pushed around by them, is what I'm trying to say. You're kidding. If you had a nickel for every time that kind of joke happened in a single day, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Yeah, where does that come from? I know I've heard that somewhere before. I love that expression. Um, still, we're here still alive. Christopher Lee should have been Rauru. Yeah, honestly, I could totally see that. I could see Ian McKellen being Rauru as well. Just, I don't know, somebody that is willing to do a voice that just sounds a little bit more mystical, a little bit more whimsical. If I don't know Synthetic Man, we'll keep it like that. Okay, that's fine. the Rock could have done Zelda. Oh, dude, I don't know if you've seen the trailer for the Moana remake, but it is heartbreaking. Not a fan of these Disney remakes. Also, don't know why at this point with Nintendo's budget and chops and stuff, why don't they just record the lines of like all the lines the characters say? Like, there's nothing stopping that I can see that should be stopping them from reading these lines out as well. Give the actors more work, you know. I believe this light will restore an ability. It's just really weird to go from like a fully voiced line to just having like this weird puppet that's kind of bobbing around in place, not saying anything. Like that. Could they really not have afforded to have the motherfucker say, extend your hand? I mean, really the answer is that like they save a ton of money on localization, so they don't have to re-record the line in different languages, right? But still, it's like it feels very old school, like excessively old school. Okay, so stay away from Synthetic Man. Got it. Thanks for the heads up. Yeah, Disney's so weird, and like I grew up like I think a lot of people really loving Disney movies, and then part of like losing the innocence, so to speak, and becoming an adult has been slowly but surely, gradually hating Disney more and more, both retroactively. I mean, like it's weird. Like I fucking love The Lion King as a movie, as a piece of like media, as a piece of storytelling. But also, if you break it down, it's like extremely problematic, right? Same thing with Aladdin. Aladdin is a fucking great movie, and also, yikes at a lot of the stuff in that movie. So it's a little uncomfortable to be a fan of Disney's things. I think that being said, though, you have to acknowledge that if you can, and this is up to you, if you can ignore the problematic aspects, like just as exemplars of animation they are, and world building and color and storytelling and framing and pacing and timing and performances, like there's so much that it music, of course, there's so much that goes into the making of a Disney movie that makes them masterpieces of overall artistic cohesion. Then we can talk about the messages and the script separately, right? Like when we get a live action remake of Black Cauldron. Oh dude, that would be awesome. I bet it's coming. I mean, they're going through their whole collection, right? Like, I would be surprised if they didn't. I mean, an actual adaptation of the book series by the animated movie. I mean, yeah, it has to happen sooner or later. Shinigami says that's why I said I got turned off by Rauru because of what Synthetic Man said about that. Okay, good to know. Ultra Hand, grab and move objects, rotate them, and stick them to other objects. Cool, cool, cool. Intriguing, but highly disturbing. It allows you to move objects freely and attach them to other objects. With it, you'll be able to build a great number of things, really anything you can imagine. Use Ultra Hand and receive the blessing from this shrine. Thanks, Ghost Goat. Activate the ability in your right hand. The ability to create. Ooh, I like this little arrow drawing thing. That's cool. Grab. Grab. I like that the Ultra Hand also looks kind of creepy and sinister in the upper left. Yeah. So that it seems like Ah, it seems like they're gonna take like some of the powers from the previous games and like kind of consolidate them into one, so that you can retain all the functions that you previously had, but then expand on them with new abilities. If so, that's really smart, because basically like it consolidates everything that you had before into your the last game button, and then expands your palette with new game buttons in a way. It's kind of cool to think about. um Let's see. Michael says Pocahontas should never have been made given the historicity of the actual events, but I still love all of Ratcliffe's songs. Yeah, I think, it's going to come down to every individual's like own comfort level and their own ability to like uh, create boundaries and stuff like that, whether or not you're okay with any given like narrative in Disney. But like I might wind up saying that The Lion King actually has a really terrible message and is really problematic, and we shouldn't like pay attention to it. And also, I'm not gonna like not sing when I Just Want to Be King or Can't Wait to Be King comes on. I'm not gonna not sing when Be Prepared comes on. Like, it's not gonna happen. You're not gonna silence me. So I don't know. I just have to figure out how to live with that cognitive dissonance. If I ever have kids, or like more likely if my friends, I probably wind up babysitting. Like, all my friends now have kids. It's like a whole thing. So I'll probably wind up like babysitting for them at some point, or like being a like pseudo uncle or whatever. And if that happens, then I'm going to wind up having to show them that, and then incurring the like karma of having to explain to them later why they shouldn't attach themselves to certain things. Okay, so this is pretty cool. I think this is pretty intuitive, right? Like, I like the way that they are like smartly drawing the connections between things, the little glob that kind of implies where the connection point is going to happen. It's snapping to some sort of invisible grid, but the sort of liquid nature of the glob itself kind of makes it still feel organic and alive. It's doing a really good job of treading that like mechanico magico thing that we were talking about before, right? So let's see. I'm curious to see what happens if I like just kind of fuck around and don't do what I'm quote unquote supposed to do, right? Like, how close does it have to be to do this game? Okay, so it does actually sandwich to it actually makes like glue. Okay, that's kind of charming. I kind of like that. But now they're welded together. Oh, and you can shake them to unstick them. Okay, and you can rotate like this, vertical rotation. All right, this is like a little too like. I don't really like this kind of gameplay. Like, it feels too Minecrafty for me. But I have to admit, as far as like adding a creative mode to a game goes, like, this is intuitive. It's smooth. It's polished. It feels really natural. It feels like there's a lot of potential here for creativity and expression. So let me see. Did I not attach? Cool. Yeah, and I like the way that they actually like add a layer of like paste. That's actually really creative too. Very, very cool. You gotta go. Bye, guys. Yeah, no worries, Omni. Have a great trip. Hope you're doing well, and thanks for stopping by as always. It's always good to see you. Take care. Let's see. The problematic elements of Aladdin include the fact that Jafar wants to be included in the Orochimaru. That's part of it, right? I mean, he is a literal snake man who is a let's just say creepy about certain things. Let me see. Let's try to rotate this over. So yeah, I could see him and Orochimaru hanging out. I think Orochimaru would find him kind of petty and limited in terms of his thinking overall. I don't think Orochimaru would really give him the time of day, but if they had to team up, if they were both Akatsuki members, I could definitely see Pain being like, okay, you snake motherfuckers, like, stick together, look out for each other. Let's see. What else can we do? You made a working mech in this game. That's cool. What was the mech capable of, like, walking around doing, like, full-on, like Gundam Wing shit? Like, could you fly in it? Like, what could it do? We can make giant square Oreos. Yeah, it kind of looks like I was thinking of like a graham cracker, like s'more, something like that. Kind of looks like it's gravitating in that general direction. But let's see. It seems like the intention here is to have the player maybe try to use multiple like more than just the bare minimum. So I want to see what happens if I try to mess with this a little bit. Like, is there actually a reason for me to attach multiple things here? Let's see. There's got to be a limit to like how much we can attach as well, right? Let's see. Okay, attach. That's cool. Hey, cool. I feel proud of this. I feel proud of my stupid little thing. Oh, that sucks. I was like, can I actually use the Ultra Hand while I'm standing on it to move myself up? That would have been cool. But also, I feel like, you know, probably would have been breaking the rules, so to speak. Like, that would just be creating, like... Oh, that's one of those things before where it's like, this I think would logically make sense to me to be able to do this. But if you do so, you can break so many things so easily. So as long as the game establishes, like, okay, this is a rule of this tool, then, you know, as long as it's consistent, that's fair. Fossilized resin with caramel-esque sheen to it. It's been valued as a component in decorations and crafting since ancient times. Okay, I want to make sure I catch up on chat. You can rotate and glue objects. Yeah. I like this. I like the system overall. You ever see those vids of Link making an orbital laser? I have not. The only one I saw was like he made I saw somebody make like a wood golem type thing with a rotating schlong that was like they turned a tree trunk into a rapidly rotating schlong and just had him like running around like mowing down enemies with it. Super mature, super funny. So that's the only thing I'm aware of at the moment. 32-ish is the limit. Oh, okay, that makes sense. It could walk and fire cannons and lasers, not fly though. That's really cool though. I'd love to see that. The Yika are a bit more advanced in terms of technology. Okay, that's cool. I'll be curious to see like what becomes of that. Shinigami says as far as power skill would look in some of those statements and say Link can do subjective reality. Oh, dude, of course. Like that would be a low ball based on some of the power scaling that we've talked about before, right? Not to like diss Saria or anything like that, right? Just like power scaling in general. Oh, okay. That's smart, right? They show us the thing, and then they show us an assembled version of the thing, so that we can start to get ideas of like how we might assemble things. It's pretty smart. Okay, so let's see. So gotta go over there. Platform over there. I'm guessing that's just like if we run out, like if we wind up dropping things down. Worst and best Zelda dungeons. I think probably my least favorite Zelda dungeon is the second one in I mean, I have to go through my whole like mental list or whatever, but I really don't like the Snowhead Temple in Majora's Mask. I think that's extremely tedious. I hate shit where like if you fall down you have to climb all the fucking way back up and do it all over again. Like it's just extremely frustrating, and with the time limit and everything, it's kind of lame. Like I really don't like it. Best dungeon, I mean, it really depends. There's a lot of really great ones in the series. I'm just gonna say that I really loved the Sky dungeon, like the Oko dungeon or whatever it was, because yeah, I don't know, I really love Castle in the Sky type shit. So I was very happy to spend time in that space, and I am not doing a very good job here. Is it gonna fall? Gonna fall down there? Well, that's actually kind of cool. It's stuck to the thing and like grind it on the rails. Okay, all right. Everything is moving exactly as planned. Let me see. I want to see if I can just kind of come up with my own dumb solution, because that's part of what made like Breath of the Wild so cool. Was like, okay, the game is trying to tell you to do something specific, but what if you just said, actually, no thanks? So, vertical rotation. Okay, let's see. Oh, Zia, what happens if... No, I don't want to do that, actually. Okay, good that they're actually, like, casting a little shadow on the ground. Nice, okay. Yeah, that was really close. Like, my heart jumped up into my chest. Okay, so I can actually, like, do this. I'm assuming what they want me to do is, like, to rotate this and then, like, put the hook on here. And then can I, like, just jump onto this? Yeah, okay. So I'll do this just for the sake of, like, doing what I'm supposed to do. Of course, what I really want to do, though, is get up there. Wait a minute. Hang on a sec. I have an idea. Why John versus a pit isn't close. Normally, I would just fall straight in, honestly. Okay, so let me see. Can I unstick this? Okay. So I am thinking that this is probably entirely intentional, and if so, this will be a perfect example again of like how the first game did a great job of empowering intuitive, like making you think you were smarter than you were or whatever. So let's see. We do this. Do that. Okay. So now, I don't know if I should put them back, like forward or backward. Let's see. Let's try and put it around the same spot. Okay. No, shit. What the fuck? Why didn't it attach? That's the wrong button. Okay. Rotate. 1, 2. I want it to be better lined up. Okay. Move over there, please. Attach. Okay, that's not perfect, but it'll do for now. Okay. Let's see if this works. Should not on the other side. Fuck. Okay. Hang on. I got this. So, let's start with the middle one. The audio feedback there of having a little tink tink tink, that's very important. Alright, so can I just like, will they, oh no, I can just go underneath. Okay, that's fine. Yep. Nope. Okay. Cool. So now if I back up and I put this, oh, that's not really gonna help me, right? I was wondering if I could get up there on that other platform. I don't think so. Okay, so like I don't have any way of actually getting up there now. If I do this, can I attach this to... Oh, I can attach that to those. But can I... Let's see. Can I attach this to it? I hate this. No, I don't. This is so stupid. Okay, hang on. So I want to try to get... Oh, wait, hang on. Maybe I can do this. Yeah, can I... No, I can't go high enough. I was trying to do... To make it so that, like, the hooks would attach on the top. So, horizontal rotation... No, vertical rotation. Yeah, there we go. Okay, sort of. Almost. Nope. Nope. Back up here. Oh, almost. It almost worked. There was an attached point that showed up for a second. Okay, let's see. I have no way of getting onto it after, though. Can attach? Yes, attach. Okay. Run, jump. Okay. Okay, well, I got it stuck anyway. Can I climb up? Shit. Okay. Well, we're making some progress. So now, if I... It's just going to swing and I'm going to fall off. Shit, what do I do? Okay, hang on. So, if I attach this in the middle, I might be able to do, like, jump here? And then, yeah, let's see if I can do that. Can I... Fuck, this is so janky. Okay. So, unstick, but if I rotate this a little bit, I should be able to make a little platform here that I can then jump onto, right? Oh, I can actually just do it from over here. Yeah. Okay. So, if I now do that, that's not gonna work. Okay. What happens if I just take this off? No, that's too far. I think. Can I grab this while I'm on it? Unstick? No, that was the rule from before that I learned. Okay. Well, now it's just fucking broke the whole fucking thing. Okay. This is a fucking mess. Can I just, like, run up it now, please? Maybe. It's probably too steep, though. I don't even know what I'm trying to accomplish anymore. Oh, yeah, there we go. Come on, come on. You can do it. God damn it. Go sideways, go sideways, go sideways. Okay, okay, almost. Okay, so here, this will actually... Oh, okay, wait, I got it, I got it. Grab this. Unstick. Yes, okay. Now, if I just pull this down a little bit and rotate it over here. Over here, over here, over here. Okay, there. Now I can attach this like that. And now be able to jump over here. Okay, perfect. Now what if I do this and then grab that, unstick it, bring it up over here. Wait, no, no, no. Down. Okay. How do I move it forward and back? Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. So, if I just create like, hang on, can I make it like this? What happens if I do that? Okay, so that does work. Okay, so if I run and jump, okay, so now I should be able to, I don't think I can get up there yet, but I can do this. Okay. Come on, please. Unstick. And can I attach it like a little bit higher? If I pull this off, then I should be able to run up, so that'll keep me there safely. Okay, so run and jump. Okay, almost. Oh, fuck, so close. Well, now, actually, if I remove this, that might just, like, free me, right? Almost. Okay. Of course, now I don't know how to get to the other side, but let's see. Nope. How do I do this? For fuck's sake. No! God damn it! Fucking son of a bitch! Oh my god, okay. Alright. Fucking... great. Wonderful. Good use of everybody's time, I'm sure. Can I just put this up there, please? Fuck it, I'm done. I'm done. I feel so fucking demoralized, I can't even articulate it. I was so close, and I felt so satisfied with myself and my stupid piece of shit fucking ladder. And now I'm heartbroken. Oh well. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And also make deadly Beyblades, says Orion. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'd actually be really cool to be able to just like come up with crazy stuff. Done well to reach this place. Kind of kid who did something shitty, was just hiding the shitty thing from his parents. Yeah, just like trying to shove the pieces under the carpet. For this light that will cleanse you of evil. Am I full of evil? Excuse me. Mighty presumptuous of you. Did she say all that? Did who say what? I'm not sure what you're referring to. Like, did she say, fuck, god damn it, I'm heartbroken, I'm so disappointed, I got so close, but then at the last minute, everything fell apart right in front of my face? Yeah, she probably did say that, didn't she? Made the... Ooh, that audio processing was great. With the voices? That sounds super cool. Okay. Yeah, I was so close. Yeah, exactly. Why are they always offering light to cleanse evil? Why can't darkness fight evil? That's a good point. It's a very, you know, literally black and white kind of way of looking at everything. Shani always says, but you decide. You can read into it. It's like a Rorschach test. You can read into it in a variety of different ways. If you visit and complete 2 more shrines, you'll be able to open the door to the Temple of Time. Okay. You may want to mark the shrines in this distance with pins, then you'll never lose track of where they are. Okay, scope. Thank you very much. Press and place a pin. Okay. Well, so far, I think the game is doing a decent job of empowering us with tools and techniques and encouraging freeform exploration and creativity. Ooh, the sunrise is really cool there. I think that ultimately I feel like I fucked something up there, and I feel like I didn't quite grasp what was happening, and that was both extremely engaging and fun, but also extremely frustrating. But in a way that not genuine frustration. It was like it was kind of funny. Um, oh, the shower of water. That was a really cool detail. Um, yeah, I'm not necessarily looking forward to having to do a lot of that. So I I don't I think if you're going to make a like emergent player driven construction system, whatever you want to call it, that is a fine way to do it. Congratulations, Nintendo. You made a system that feels fluid and intuitive and seems polished and is easy to use, and that is really, really fucking hard to do. So I applaud that as a developer. I think it's an interesting challenge, and they've succeeded with that challenge overall, and that's really cool. That being said, I don't love, like, based on my initial experience with it, I don't really love it enough to want to spend a whole game, like, engaging with this mechanic unless I have to. That's just the kind of player that I am, right? So, oh, shit. Okay. Yep. Wee. Oh, there it is. Went all the way over there. Is it gonna, like, poof out? Ah, okay. So, okay, that's fair. So, I actually have to use my brain, unfortunately. Let's see. So, rotate, rotate, rotate. The rotation isn't always as intuitive as I would like. Let's go up, and then, oh, right, because I have to rotate my body, actually. Oops, buddy. So, let's try this. And of course, I planned this poorly, but okay, there we go. Well, it should work. I mean, that feels pretty cool, right? That feels like it's in line with the, you know, the overall, like, design goals, philosophy, whatever of the first game. They kind of put tools nearby, and they, excuse me, they kind of expect that you'll have the creativity, ingenuity, or whatever else to figure it out for yourself, like to figure out what you, like how you think the solution should be. And that was honestly, like, my favorite part of the first game, is like thinking up something and then being like, there's no way this could actually work, and then it does, and then you feel super smart. That shit is really cool, and I think that, you know, it makes sense that they would maybe want to, like, capitalize on that, and say, okay, can we make an entire ass game about just making people feel that feeling of, like, I don't know if this will work, there's no way that would possibly work, maybe it would work, it'll definitely work, we gotta try this, right? Like, finding a way to make that a thing that ties your whole experience together. There are very few games that actually even try to do that, right? So I think it's an admirable goal, and it's actually, fuck this game. I'm kidding. It's an admirable goal, and it seems to be, like, at first glance, something that they have succeeded at, but also you got to be careful, because if players are like me, this winds up happening. So, you know, you're trusting your players a lot. Your mech walks like a fat chicken. That's beautiful. I love it. Do I have any familiarity with the Metal Gear franchise? Yes, I've played 2, 3, 4, and 5, and Rising. I barely remember. I think I, like, kind of, like, sped through, or, like, what's the word for it? Like, binged, 3 and 4, so I really don't remember much about those games. 2 I remember a bit more clearly. I was pretty fond of 2 at the time. And then 5 I really loved. Like, I got so addicted to playing that game. This is actually kind of embarrassing for me to admit, but like I have had like legit video game addiction in the past, and I got so addicted to playing that game that I got the physical copy of it, and then I like handed it to my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, I need to give you this because I can't be trusted with this. And then I went home and I bought a digital copy of it, because like my addiction brain was like, okay, well, clearly the problem here was that you gave away your physical copy. If you buy a non-physical copy, then you won't do that again. And so yeah, it's kind of embarrassing to admit after the fact, but that I was that into it. So yeah, thankfully I am no longer dealing with that particular issue, but I have learned about myself that it's important to, like, so I've been wanting to check out Marvel Rivals, but I know that the moment I start playing that game, it's going to take over my life. Because a little while ago, a friend was like, you should try out this cool game called Apex Legends. I took one look at that, and I was like, if I start playing this, it's going to take over my life, and I'm going to do nothing else for a long ass time, and it's going to be a problem. And then the other part of my brain said, no, dude, you just play a little bit, it'll be totally fine. That part of my brain was wrong. I now know whether or not to listen to that part of my brain, and that was took a minute for me to learn that lesson, but now I've learned it and everything's fine. Why are you asking about Metal Gear? Crisis also went over Metal Gear's scaling in the past, not as highballed as his scaling for Zelda Star Wars. We'll be interested in seeing your thoughts on where he has Solid Snake. Yeah, I'd be interested in checking that out. I mean, like, my understanding is that like he's basically just a dude with some, you know, moderately, like, not superhuman, but he's, I guess what you would say is, like, not supernatural, preternatural, maybe, like, slightly above, like, significantly above your average human being, but I don't think Solid Snake himself has any real superpowers, although he does go up against characters like Lightning Man, or, like, not Lightning Man, what the fuck is his name? The guy who's, like, well, let's just use Metal Gear Solid 5, I know better, right? Like, the Man on Fire is a good example. He does manage to take down, like, to survive attacks from characters like that, and, I think he's the same character, right? Volgan, or whatever his name is, the dude who can, like, summon lightning, like, use lightning jutsu, essentially, in 3. So, I guess if you maybe do some creative scaling, and you allow for scaling off of feats from other characters like that, you know, then you could get him higher than your average human for sure. But I mean, like, the most impressive feats, like him stopping Sahelanthropus, or like Raiden taking down all the Metal Gear Rays or something like that, right? All of that is with advanced weaponry, right? So it's not, it's like him scaling, you could probably like scale reaction time feats and stuff like that pretty high, but in terms of like AP and DC, wouldn't think he gets that high, or like very high. But yeah, Volgan, yeah, okay, yeah, I'd be curious. I mean, like, there's sort of you know, have you heard the theory that like Jar Jar Binks is a Sith Lord? When people make that theory and they point out all the evidence for it, and they argue about it, even if they take a really hardline stance about it, it personally doesn't bother me one way or another, because to me it's like, oh, okay, this is kind of silly, this is kind of fun, whimsical, whatever else you want to call it, right? It's not that big of a deal. Even if I think it's like totally ridiculous and out of pocket, I won't really get worked up about it, because it's still like, I don't really see the point. Like, it's relatively low stakes, it's just kind of a cute theory. With the power scaling stuff that and so sorry, if you take that same mentality of like, I want to see if you know, I have a theory that Solid Snake, you know, if you scale him to Volgan becomes the Man on Fire. The Man on Fire, like, can summon a whole bunch of fucking you know, explosives, and so let's put him at, like, I don't know, tank level to just make up something. and then Solid Snake beats him and he defeats him with like a little water gun, and the water gun has no real AP, so really the attack is coming from Solid Snake himself, and so Solid Snake is also tank level. It's like very clearly what you're doing there is you're using like semantics and you're kind of creatively shuffling around words to try to see how you can sort of solve like this word or logic puzzle. Like, it doesn't feel like it's super serious. It doesn't feel like you are really trying to monopolize anybody else's understanding of the series. You're saying like, well, what if this is true and then that is true and then we take that and put it with some of this, and you're just like trying to come up with the like a fun like lighthearted, enjoyable way of looking at stuff. I don't see the problem with that at all. The reason why I get kind of pissy about the Naruto scaling stuff is because, to kind of go back to my rant from before, I do think that it's creating or causing a lot of misinformation and misunderstanding in the community. Again, like, I genuinely have no vested interest in picking on Sage as a person, but in multiple streams over the past week, multiple different content creators, I have been in people's streams and I have pointed out like, hey, this, that, or the other thing about Naruto scaling, and they've said, oh, dude, there's this YouTuber you should check out. He answers this question for you. You're just not understanding. It's the inherent nature of literature that you're not getting. Like, the shit is spreading. Like, I see it cropping up all over the place. It's like the misinformation is genuinely like making it hard to have a conversation with people, because you have to go through all this rigmarole of explaining the shit over and over again, and like combat all the misconceptions before you can even like start to have an enjoyable conversation. That shit is really annoying. I don't think that shit really applies though for like, we're kind of joking around that that Solid Snake could like punch an Abrams and just like buckle it or something like that. Like, we can kind of understand that like that's obviously a little bit tongue-in-cheek. And people are out here actually being like, no, like, texts have inherent nature and you are obligated to believe them, and if you don't believe them, then like that's your fault. You're being unreasonable. You haven't really read the text. Like, we should just dismiss you out of hand because you clearly just don't understand how literature works. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, it's so obnoxious. It's so like toxic to the conversation, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's the only shit that really gets to me, because it feels like it's a weird form of intellectual gatekeeping. And I love his spoon. His spoon is so cute, and now I'm not mad anymore because of his spoon. Thank you, Nintendo, for this spoon. My next batch will be so tasty. Pardon me for not noticing you. I was absorbed in preparing my next meal. You don't recall having seen you before today. I must doubly apologize for my inattentiveness. Oh, you're fine, buddy. You're fine. It is the duty of a construct to field any questions that those such as yourself may have. You may pose the questions to any construct. We'll answer them as best we can. Cooking. Yes, tell me about cooking. You seem to be uneducated when it comes to cooking. Very well. You will learn how to create a meal on your own. Yeah, I'll fucking figure it out. Thank you, though. I love his little head eggs, too. But yeah, let's see. Oh, yeah, Senator Armstrong. Yeah, my source is that I made it the fuck up. It's kind of scary how much of an accurate prediction Armstrong wound up being for our current political climate. Kind of fucking scary, down to the whole like whatchamacallit, stem bulb, down to the whole him literally saying we're gonna make America great again. Like, oof, okay, that's less funny now for sure. People accusing others of media literacy when they're taking the most literal interpretation possible without considering alternatives is mind-numbing. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the thing that kind of like really got to me, is Sage's on stream being like, if people tell you that the data books are like varied or whatever, like they're not inherently reliable, they haven't read them. They have not read the data books. And it's like, that's a fucking... It's not a lie necessarily, because I don't know if you're trying to deceive anybody, but it's blatantly untrue. Like, plenty of people have read the data books, myself included, and come to different conclusions. Like, it's incredibly rude to... And basically, literally gaslighting, to say, no, you just haven't read them, you haven't read them properly. Like, fuck off. Like, it's so rude. But anyway, I sent... Sage and I like talked briefly in the comments and then via DM, and like hopefully like, cause I do kind of feel bad just like talking shit incessantly, so my win condition, my ideal outcome or conclusion for uh, this whole pseudo conflict, that like this parasocial conflict, is to resolve differences. Like, I don't really get anything about dragging out the I don't really get anything by or like benefit at all from like dragging out this sort of like indefinitely dragging out this conflict or whatever. It's not even a conflict because we're not really like we don't like hate each other. We're not like going after each other or anything like that. But this frustration that I'm feeling, and the responses that I've been making, the goal ultimately is to reconcile, right? Like, my win condition is that if I'm wrong about something, I want to understand that so that I can correct my understanding and or misunderstanding, and then get smarter, get wiser, whatever. And if somebody else happens to currently have a misunderstanding, then without judging them and without like calling them names or whatever, I would like to, yay eggs, um, I would like to help them better understand it. So that's my ultimate win condition, is that we both figure out where our misunderstanding stemmed from and help each other to reconcile it. So to that effect, I reached out, and hopefully within the near future we'll have a discussion on Discord. Maybe we'll wind up sharing it or streaming it, maybe not. We haven't really decided yet. But either way, I am optimistic that we'll be able to figure out something together. That's all I want, really. Um, but we'll see. We'll have to see how it goes, right? Like, that was my hope with Noodles as well. I don't think Sage is nearly as toxic as Noodles, like, just to be very clear. But, like, the last time I tried to do this, it didn't exactly go well. So we'll see. Hopefully things work out just fine. I think they probably will. I think it's when you try to engage with people in the YouTube comments as well, it's like there's a certain layer of like not exactly anonymity, but it feels a little bit less direct. It feels a little bit more impersonal, and so I think it's easier to kind of feel like things are a little bit more hostile. So hopefully, or just like, I don't know, a little less friendly, let's say. So hopefully when you get a chance to talk to somebody, like, not face to face, obviously, because it's not in person, but in a way that feels a little bit more organic, then things will go better. I'm optimistic. Anyway, the fuck was I even talking about? Mahoraga, help me. Sorry, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Mahoraga. Why does that sound so familiar? Is that something from JJK, Mahoraga? Um, oh, Senator Armstrong versus Homelander. Uh, I don't know. Intuitively, based on watching The Boys recently, I would probably say Homelander, because Armstrong is super tough and super durable, but he does lose to like a robot with a sword. I mean, obviously, I'm like oversimplifying it vastly, but Homelander has flight. He has like supersonic speed. He has like the laser vision, like superhuman strength. I don't know. I feel like he has more advantages overall, and I'm not entirely sure, but you know, intuitively, it would seem reasonable to me to say that he could probably again, whatchamacallit, he could probably at least disrupt Armstrong's nanomachines with his laser vision. That seems right to me. But of course, like if you disagree, like you're welcome to. Let's see. Don't don't get started on their ego. Yeah, no kidding. I just mentioned the ways Bleach has around Genjutsu skipping versus equalization and the whole chakra network thing. Oh, were people like giving you shit for that? That's unfortunate. I think I have to talk to this fucking little guy first. Potential Man has some feats to speak of. Is Potential Man... Oh, Databug Man versus Potential Man. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. I also am not interested in validating people who are like, look, I found one scan of Temari saying that she could blow away the whole universe. Therefore, the databooks suck and you shouldn't read them at all. Like, no. Like, I don't think a hardline stance in either direction is appropriate. I think a nuanced stance is what's going to help most people. Let's see. Potential Man has some feats to speak of. My mech is jiggy with it. What do I do? You have to embrace the jiggy. The jiggy is a good thing. Lean into it. Like, just exacerbate and exemplify the jiggy. I think it's calling out to you. I think you should listen to it. Let's see. What did you just say, Michael? I'm not sure what you're referring to. Sorry, I think I lost the plot. I'm jumping all over the place. Kirby apparently has some insane feats. That's true, Orion. Like, doesn't he literally like split Popstar in half in the mini game? Like, I don't know if we're supposed to take that 100% literally, but I remember this mini game from Kirby Superstar where he like splits that. It's probably more of a small planet than an actual star, right? It's not a ball of incandescent gas or whatever, but it's pretty fucking impressive. And then like he goes up against some cosmic entities that are pretty terrifying as well. And then depending on how you canonize or like what feats you use specifically, like the whole thing where I can just hear the argument now, right? When he uses his cooking ability, he literally freezes time and he sucks in all enemies near him with a like Bancho Tenin style attack. Like, obviously I don't think we should scale that literally, but if you did, he's got like time and gravity manipulation, and I could just see somebody taking that and running with it and getting him to some fucking crazy levels. Oh, your last comment was continuing Shinigami's quoting of Armstrong. Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, they're hardened in response to physical trauma. That guy's voice is like sandpaper on gravel, and I fucking love it. Databook man sources. Databook's nothing proved in the source. Yeah, you can't hurt me, Jack. Yeah, Kirby sits at the peak. Like he's so busted if you actually like look into a lot of what he does. And I only know like the tip of the iceberg too. All that to be an Iron Man victim or a James Bond victim if we're still talking about Naruto characters, right? You should. I don't know if you like debating or whatever, but I'm gonna try to stop by on fucking Eon's stream tomorrow. If you're around, we could try to like try to go at it. I don't know. I don't actually know what I would debate about though. That's the thing. I have very, very specific topics that I'm highly invested in, and then I don't know anything about anything else. So I'm a Korok, one of the children of the forest. Traveling with my friend, but we got separated. I stole your whole vibe. Yeah. My friend is sending up a smoke signal. I can't wait to catch up. I'm so tired though, I can't move. Take the fucking backpack off. My friend and I got separated. Oh, I think I understand. Can I? Yeah, that's actually kind of hilarious. I love that I can get away with this. Okay. Stick you to the tree. Okay, this is kind of charming, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if this could sustain an entire game. Right? Like, I want some fucking dungeons and puzzles. Like, this is not gonna be enough to carry me for the entire fucking game. But as an idea, it is kind of cute. And I don't hate it. It says I'm really bad at it. Come on. No. Okay. Just look at... Okay, well... If I drop it now... Okay... Oh, wait. Hang on. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do it safely. Okay, there we go. Wait. I want to go on. Get on. Okay. There we go, buddy. Okay, this is actually kind of cute. Oh, is there like a crop circle down there? That's cool. I like that. Here we go. Into the fire. Can I attach him to this? I can't. Reunited at last, thanks. I'd like to give you something, but here's all I have. Oh, that's fine. For the love of God, do not drop the leaf civilian. What happens if I drop him over the edge? Do I have to like restart the whole thing? And now I can't grab him anymore, that sucks. But this actually might be good to kind of wrap things up pretty soon. I think we're getting to a nice stopping point. I think I'll do one more stream next time because I'd like to you know, kind of find my way through the rest of this area and just like see what the other abilities are and see what we learn from that. I couldn't quite break this. Let's see. Drop it from higher. Nope. Can I break it if I do this though? I smack it. No, I guess not. But if I drop this? No, I got no bombs, so... Oh, that's right. Obviously, the Ultra Hand, like, the consolidating everything in one comment from before didn't make sense because there's no bomb, right? So that doesn't make sense. Don't do it. Oh. Okay. I wonder, of course, like, now I'm thinking, you know how, like, in a lot of Zelda games, if you hit the chickens, they will, it'll, like, fucking, if you, like, keep on attacking the cuckoos, eventually, like, a swarm will hit you. I wonder if it does something like that. Oh, I guess I could, like, reuse my contraption from before, right? You jump on, get on to it. Fuck's sake, Link! God damn it! Sorry if that was being homophobic at first. Just pointing out how brain rotted I got. Oh no, I didn't detect anything like that. Yeah, I appreciate you checking in though. The impression that I got was more that you were just sort of creeped out that somebody was forcing, like, this particular relationship out of nowhere. Well, now I fucked it up. Oh, I'm back here. Okay. Yeah, can I just go down here? Oh yeah, I can just climb. Or I can fall like an idiot. Okay, so that's fine. At least I don't have to do the same shit over again. Curry would beat Heianera Sukuna. I still haven't gotten that far in the story, but I'm guessing... Is he, like, supposed to be super powerful? Is that, like, essentially peak Sukuna? Is Heianera? That's like Sukuna with all of his fingers united and all that shit. Yeah, so this is, it's been pretty fun so far. I will say, I think that, I don't... So here's the thing, like, philosophically that I'm curious about, right? I made this contraption to help me get from one place to another, right? But... And it was genuinely fun and interesting to try to come up with a contraption. Like, here is a problem that you have to solve. We are not going to tell you exactly how to solve it. You're going to have to figure that out yourself. Good luck. And here are some hints. You can do things in the most logical, reasonable way possible. You can come up with some crazy bullshit that probably shouldn't work, but we're not going to stop you from trying. And you can also, like, hey, it's a pretty open sandbox, so if you wind up coming up with something else that you feel is more appropriate, hey, more power to you, right? I like that approach to game design a lot. I respect that. I think we need more of that. I think it's healthy for the brain, and especially if this game winds up getting, you know, kind of nudged towards kids. I think it's given its lower rating, you know, it'll probably be more family friendly, and that's a Nintendo thing through and through anyway. So I think that at the end of the day, this all bodes well for the games industry overall. That being said, when I think of my time as a player, like, what is actually, what is the goal? What is the thing that I am, like, trying to prepare myself to do? I want to move like 20 feet or 50 feet, right? Like, I'm up here and I want to get down there. If the game had given me a satisfying movement verb that, like, let me just let me jump and glide, like, I don't know, the glider that we already had in the first game, I would be totally happy. I don't need to come up with an elaborate solution to do something simple that was already supported before, right? Like, I think it was already enough that you could find boats and hop on the boats and, like, go across. It was already enough that you could, like I would much rather have a Zora mask here and be able to just, like, swim around in the water freely and jump and pirouette and stuff and, like, use my boost than have to be like, okay, I gotta go find an axe. My axe is broken. I gotta go find another one. Okay, I found another one. I cut down this tree, and then I gotta go over here, and then they pick up this and then bring this over there. The only thing that this, like, definitely adds, though, that you're just not ever going to get from that other approach is a sense of uniqueness. Like, even if 100 million other people came up with this exact same solution, this little piece of shit boat is mine. I made this shit. Me. This is the SS John. And nobody else made this exact one at this exact time with this exact sequence of events. This belongs to me. And I'm proud of it because I made it. I'm proud of this little stupid piece of shit the SS, you fucking piece of shit, as Donkey would say. And I'm gonna write it because it's mine, and fuck you if you don't like my boat. It's perfect, you know. That's it, flawless boat. So yeah, you're not gonna get that same kind of thing, and you're not gonna get the same like deep level of experimentation with the game's mechanics and systems, um, if everything is already laid out before you. Games are about following rules in a certain sense, right? Oh yeah, good night, Michael. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you have a great night. But yeah, like, games are about following a specific set of rules, and if the designers kind of make you feel like you are breaking or rewriting rules in real time, that can be not only extremely empowering, but also and fun, but also like just allow for forms of game design that you wouldn't be able to benefit from otherwise. Yeah. Um, in addition to just like creating a much more interesting and fluid conversation between the um, the player and the developer, right? Like, the developer is almost inviting you not to just follow the rules and execute things correctly, but to just have fun and see what the fuck you come up with. Maybe it'll be a goddamn abomination, and that's okay. Maybe it'll be the most hyper efficient, like, perfectly tuned tool in like conception, and that's okay too. And that is really cool. So I don't think that, for me as a gamer, that this kind of gameplay, this kind of like task allotment is going to sustain me for 50 plus hours. But I'm also really, because I just don't like find the act of making contraptions all that rewarding, to me personally. But I would much rather, like, if I had a kid, I would much rather them play this than Mario Odyssey. Sunshine is fine, because Mario Odyssey felt like a bunch of extremely linear, rigid tasks that, granted, you had a lot of freedom of movement, but in terms of actually like performing um, the quests or whatever, like to earn individual moons, they felt very, very simplistic, and the rewards that you got felt very like slot machiney, like lots of bright colors and flashing lights and sounds and everything. And I was worried at the time, like, I don't know if this is like healthy for young brains to engage with, but this, absolutely, like, this is exactly the kind of game like I would want to encourage a kid of mine to play, because you're going to be using parts of your brain in different, unique, novel, creative ways. You're going to be interacting with complex systems in rewarding and intuitive ways. Like, it's not my favorite, but I think it can be genuinely really healthy and really positive. And on that note, let's end the stream there. This has been about 2.5 hours. It's been a nice introduction to the world. So far, I'm really liking it. I'm really impressed with a lot of the stuff that they have done, and I'm curious to see where it goes. I think this game is special and unique and has something to say, something to offer. Looking forward to getting into it deeper with you next Thursday. Definitely do a part 2. Let me catch up on chat before I go. I almost let my intrusive thoughts take over. Intrusive thoughts are like the most prevalent in my brain, so that's going to be a recurring theme. I'm sure you'll notice. Yuta, you mean our anti-Kirby technique? Oh, Sukuna. Ah, yes, my anti-Kirby technique. I haven't used this, the Hainanera. Yeah. JJK does have that tendency to be like very, very explicit about how things are described and like the back and forth in fights, right? Explained. The opera anti-Kirby techniques, earthly sorcery is quite advanced. Still, I am Lightspeed. Yeah. Oh, your mech blew up. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, the goofy, like, I feel like this game, this is a rare game in that it actively encourages and incentivizes you to be goofy and silly and creative and free. So why not lean into that? You know, like, if you want a more somber, serious, straightforward Zelda experience, there are plenty of those already. So as much as like I would also like another one of those, this exists in its goofy state. So I think it makes sense to kind of embrace the goof, if that makes sense. Rules or suggestions, some of them are. Some of them are maybe should be considered a little bit more firm than suggestions, but yeah. Yeah, if you're heading out, no worries. I'm gonna be. Oh yeah, you're responding to what I said, of course. Feel free to subscribe if you like. Yeah. So the way that the streams tend to go down is Thursdays we tend to do gaming streams. So usually it'll be something like this where we'll pick a game, we'll kind of study it for a little while, we'll talk about like game design, sound design, visuals, and stuff like that. So for the next 2 weeks, I think probably it'll be one or two more Zelda streams, and then I'm going to be playing Deracine, which is from Soft PlayStation 1 VR exclusive title. It's like one of the very few modern From Software games I've never played. I finally got myself a PSVR setup, so I'm going to try and get that set up so that we can check that out together. But then I have plans to play a lot of other stuff like Drakengard, Nox, might poke into some Diablo 2. I want to play it through the Silent Hill series, through Demon Souls. So if you like Souls-likes, if you like, video game analysis and like you want to hear more about like what it's like to be a game developer, I'd encourage you to check out the stream. Feel free to subscribe. Also, Sundays we talk about anime and manga. I'm kind of obsessed with Naruto and with Naruto power scaling, and so Sundays are when we have our like focused power scaling discussions. If you check out the live section of the of my channel, you'll see all the previous videos that I've done on Naruto and stuff. So feel free to poke into that and see if there's anything you like. Shinigami says, yeah, see you, man. Funny, this is the first time I stayed a whole stream. Oh yeah, well thank you so much for hanging out, dude. I really appreciate it. But that being said, thank you everybody. Have a great night, and I will look forward to seeing you again on Sunday. Take care.